Let's get started.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All right.
for the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
You are now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
I forgot the dog.
In the car?
No, just at home.
Oh, I said, well, Chico.
Yeah, no,
absentee.
listen, he's first podcast he's
I'll
missed, I
have 2
assume.
cigarettes if you want to go drive them.
No, I don't want to go get the dog. Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar.
Hello.
And Simon.
What's going on?
What we do here is very simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We're going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernons. And then we're going to delve into each episode, talk about the guests, the talking points, give our opinions, this, that, and the next. Kamar, how was your week?
Great week, Matty. Just rolling in the summer. You guys like Score Bar?
The best.
The chocolate bar? He does. Do you?
No, I don't like it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anyways.
really?
It's one of my least favorite chocolate bars.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about
Is
like
it
a
just so
Score
small?
Blizzard or something?
No, don't like Score.
Fair enough.
Score cake, Matt? Not into it.
I had a Harvey's Score milkshake, and it was insane.
From Harvey's. Ugh.
Yeah, I was sort of ashamed, but I feel like when I go to Harvey's, I'm doing my duty as a Canadian supporting.
You know
Gotcha.
what, though? In Kamar's defense, not that I want to defend Kamar anymore, but Harvey's invested in like a whole new milkshake system.
They're all pre-made or something?
Well, they're just much better now, and like you can get like smoothies and all sorts of crap coming out of that one
Well, this thing was amazing.
machine.
You know what they should invest in?
Good burgers.
Beef.
Yeah. Real cows. Oh, I'm with you, man.
Can't have it all.
When somebody tells me that Harvey's is their favorite burger joint, I'm just like, we're done. We are done.
They also have Red Bull slushies.
That sounds like it should be illegal somehow.
I was just wondering, like they're up in their accoutrement game.
No, I don't like Red Bull. That actually sounds not bad.
No,
On the Score Blizzard tip.
I'm
what I'm saying.
just. It seems like vapes. They shouldn't be able to have that out in the open. You know.
It's
I get
too
it.
much.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was a highlight of my week.
It would be like if a cocaine company came out with a slushie.
Yeah, like what kid doesn't want a fucking Red Bull slushie?
I think Red Bull's almost an adult drink.
I know, but it's to a kid. It's like that thing can give me energy, and now it's in ice cream form. You know.
How much does it give a kid?
But even then, Kamar, I think that's the problem too, is once you label something an adult thing, kids are like, I'm in.
Even more.
Yeah. Simon, how's your week?
My week was all right. Thank you, Matt. Good fights last night.
It was unbearable in Ottawa this week.
Oh, it was so hot. It was so funny. So we were watching the fights last night, and I managed to stay awake right to the last fight. And I'm like, you know me, it's hard. I fall asleep, whatever.
It was 2 a.m.
And so we're watching, me and Matt are watching, and next thing I know, he says, "Oh my God, he knocked him down." And I
yelled out, "Oh my God, Masvidal just knocked him the fuck out." Like I hopped up and yelled because I've been looking at him for 10 seconds. He's asleep, sitting up like this. So I'm like, oh, I got to get him.
But wait, so I come to, and I'm like, it was one of those situations we were talking about the other day where I don't remember what I said, but I know what I said was to try and convince Matt that I was awake. And he's like, I must have said something about the round. And Matt's like, it's the 5th round. And I looked at the screen. I'm like, oh, fuck, I've been asleep for 3 rounds.
And you were dozing in and out of the rounds, right?
No, I was perfectly awake until then. Like I thought I was going to make it through. And then I guess I just totally nodded off.
Did you pick Masvidal?
No,
I
I was the one that
Masvidal.
put the $200,000 bet on him.
Someone lost $200,000.
Yeah,
Oh, you didn't see that?
He didn't do well last night.
You know, they show I mean, I guess maybe it's different for different No, because it's the pay-per-view. You know, they show the little Twitter ticker sometimes in the bottom. There was just before the fight started, they were like, someone just dropped $200,000 at like a 3-1 for Masvidal to win. Obviously, they lost that money, but
when he did the fake, did you think Masvidal had won?
I didn't even know what the fuck was going on. I was asleep, you know?
Mm-hmm.
all it did was wake him up. I'm not gonna like. He raised his head and he did that like I'm awake.
Yeah.
And then that was that.
Like when a fighter's knocked out.
I said something about the rounds, though. I know I did, because then he was like,
Yeah.
it's the 5th round.
Yeah, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe there's 2 rounds this left. And I was like,
Yeah,
there's
that's right.
probably 45 seconds of the fight left, Simon.
That's exactly, because I guess I had dozed off right when there were 2 rounds left. I thought I was asleep for like 3 seconds. You know?
They weren't that like exciting. The final rounds as the preliminary or the final fights.
Listen, I said this to
Something that
someone.
lulled you to sleep.
Whenever there's a card like that, it's too much hype. I also said to Simon, as much as you thought you wanted Masvidal Usman, you wanted it with the proper training. Like you didn't want Masvidal on 6 days' notice.
No, yeah.
Yeah, he looked out of shape.
I mean, he just didn't look like he had really been training for a fight with Usman.
The one fight I didn't pay attention to at all is the one I should have been watching, which was the Rose fight.
against
yeah.
Well, Rose won by decision, despite
Yeah,
her face.
I
looking
know.
Fucked.
Yeah, she didn't look like she won a fight after that one.
At least she didn't get slammed on her fucking skull.
So soft and so hard.
Roses?
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor Paige Van Zandt almost had her arm broken.
Yeah, I think she's done. Her career is over.
She's super hot too.
Yeah, she's easy on the eyes. All right, let's get into Joe Rogan.
Oh, is that what we do here?
That is what we do here, yeah. Do you want to run down the guests, Kamar?
I do. We had a really good week this week, I think, in my opinion. We start off with one of the OG bad motherfuckers, Josh Barnett, 1503. Then we had Cool Dad of the Year Award nominee, Alan Levinowitz, 1504. Then we had Back from the Dead, haven't seen him in a while, Hannibal Buress, 1505. And then we finished off with a breath of fresh air, 1506, James Nestor.
A breath of fresh air. I like we did there.
Thank you, buddy.
I didn't catch that. Sorry. Well, I did, I guess. Eventually I got it.
Simon's chuckling to himself. It's all right. Okay. It's all good.
All right. Well, let's rate it as we normally do. Simon, would you like to start for us?
Okay.
I got to say, I 4 guests that's perfect.
The perfect amount, yeah.
Josh Barnett, that guy. Who was the middle guest?
Alan Levinowitz.
No, that was
and
the
Hannibal
second one.
Buress.
Hannibal, and then the breath guy. I'll give this week a 3.5.
Kamar?
I give it a 4.
Oh, hey. All right. I guess I'm in a decent mood. I'll give it a 4 too. I was leaning more towards somewhere in between 3.5 and 4, but
They call that 375, Maddie.
well, Maddie doesn't do those
It might be 4 is just the perfect amount of content.
for podcasts.
And all different, unique.
We should mention, technically, there was a 5th. They did a fight companion last night, but we don't include those.
I should have mentioned that because it was an addended fight companion with Tony Hinchcliffe and Joey Diaz.
I guess it's when I was thinking about it, I was like, well, 2 of them have coronavirus, and Eddie doesn't believe in coronavirus. So
Eddie was cornering somebody in a jiu-jitsu competition.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, he would have been there. Those other 2 have now been banned from the studio for sure.
14 days at
It was
least.
actually a great fight companion. I don't know
was.
if you listened to it.
I did.
I liked it way better. Like if they had Eddie in there, that would have been perfect.
Well, they're way more humble just about their fight knowledge than
For sure, and they know when to stop talking when Joe needs to talk. Like it's
Cocky
such
shop in the corner.
It's such a struggle when it's those other guys in there. Like, listen, it's fun. I get it, but I think as long as you have Mr. Bravo there, it's going to be hilarious regardless.
he was missed. But
Like him
the
and
new two,
Diaz
and
together,
Hinchcliffe were welcome.
I don't even know if I've ever seen Eddie and Joey Diaz interact together.
Maybe they're the same person.
But dude, I was listening to Joey on that fight companion going towards the dog park today with my wife, and I was fucking dying.
Dog, you know the COVID is Latin for not making money, right? That's the exact translation. Direct.
He was in fine form.
I had to double check that. It certainly is not.
Yeah, I tell Simon that last night because I was tuning in and out of the fight companion. So
As you're watching?
yeah, well, he went out for smoking between fights, so I'm watching Joey Diaz wax poetic, and I catch that line where he's like, "Dog, COVID means not making money in Latin." Simon comes down, I drop that line on him, and Simon looks at me for a second, and then 5 minutes later he goes, You know that's not true, right? He's got his phone out. He goes, "There's not."
What was he talking about right at the beginning though? Because he had me dying, man. It was so funny. He went on this huge diatribe. Joe couldn't breathe. Like
I haven't listened to it yet. I'm going to listen
Start
to it
about a
tomorrow.
movie. The new Rambo.
The new Rambo.
That's what we
yeah.
talked about in the uncut scene.
Oh, but they were talking about Goodfellas. It was great. It was really good, man.
It was great.
And Tony Hinchcliffe just knows a shit ton about movies. Like,
And he knows where to pick his spot.
he knows where to pick a spot. And what he understands is that mid conversation, if Joe needs to interrupt for the fight, then it's done.
And
You
less
might
is
not.
more.
You might not come back to it.
But
You
you'll
know
get
what I
another one.
mean?
He'll serve you up another one.
Yeah,
down the
for
road.
sure. I'm just saying though, like that's not the case on the other.
It was a breath of fresh air compared to the usual fight companion, which I do enjoy the most. But
I did listen though. Sorry, Matt. We will get to our.
this is a
show
bonus review of the fight
very,
companion.
We're doing.
very,
Listen, it's your show too. I
very
don't give a shit.
shortly. I did listen to the Brian Callen, the fighter and the kid, just the beginning
Apology.
this week to hear them. Because
Crow?
Matt told me that they had to eat crow, or maybe you did. I very much appreciated that.
No, it's their only choice.
Yeah.
They can't come any other way out of it going, well, fuck this, blah, 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 stupid.
No, just it was exactly what needed to happen.
And I think it does show that it affects other people. Like, people are like, okay, they're serious, I'm serious. Like,
They must have
people
gotten
are
a lot.
impressionable.
They must have gotten a lot of flack from a lot of different people.
Just building up and, yeah.
anyways, whatever. Let's move on.
I think, well, just real in closing,
Yep.
I think when COVID was kind of at its, it's weird that because now it's almost at its peak now.
more than its peak.
Fine, but what I'm saying is when it seemed like it was at its peak at the beginning, when people like us were saying like, oh, it seems like maybe we did the right thing and that it all worked, or some people were like, well, we didn't even need to do it because it worked so well.
Right.
They were kind of really on that, like making fun of masks, making fun of everyone wearing, they really went fucking. I can't remember what I was going to say.
And Brian, for sure, like Brian, different. Maybe he needs the money. He's got an ex-wife. You know what I mean? But Brendan is like Joe. He has a family and he doesn't need to risk it. They were doing that simply because.
But there was a ripple effect from that. A lot of people all of a sudden canceled stuff that was
for sure.
on the fence and stuff.
Oh, I see. So maybe that is good then. Maybe they're like the
obviously.
canary in the coal mine.
And it shows that they're not too stubborn enough to stick to something.
I wonder though. Yes, you know what? I wonder how much was financial. I wonder like if they heard from sponsors, if they, you know what I'm saying?
Very interesting.
Very interesting. Anyways, who cares about them? Let's we'll tackle that on TFAKKK.
Let's dive into it.
A lot of K's there,
Yeah,
Simon.
that's
You got to
too,
be real careful.
That's way maybe one too many
T-Fat
K's.
KKKKKK.
Listen, I just couldn't figure out the acronym.
I got you,
But,
the fighter and the kid.
And the kid. Thank you. It's 2 Ks.
2 Ks.
2 Ks. I think that
Yeah.
might be too close. Well, you're
T-Fat
just gonna.
KK.
We're gonna go the fighter, and the kid. There you go.
Oh, double up on the Shaw. You got to love that. All right.
TFFK.
Josh Barrett.
Barnett.
Whatever.
you're being Kamar now.
You know what he means.
So
No, it's better we get it right.
my
Josh Barnett.
first question right away before he even started talking, when I saw the name up there, I said,
why is this not
is
an
MMA guy again seeping into our program? And the first thing Joe said, because I now started listening to what Joe says before they come on.
Intro blurb.
Yeah. Because I want to hear what he thinks of the show. Because if I hate it and he thought it was interesting, I find that interesting. You know what I mean? And he said he was a Renaissance man. And he kind of was a Renaissance man. The guy just knew a ton of shit about a ton of shit.
He didn't sound punch drunk at all.
No.
Considering it was he's in and out of the fight game, I think he might still be in it.
He sounded very coherent,
Exactly.
obviously. Yeah.
I feel like Renaissance man gets thrown around far more than it should now. I mean, a true Renaissance man. Like, think about Da Vinci.
Let's back up. I would say he's
Modern day
as much a
Renaissance,
Renaissance man as maybe Brian Callen is a Renaissance man. You know
So
what I
not
mean?
at all.
They just know a lot of information about a variety of different subjects. That's kind of what I think of when I think Renaissance man.
He's also
fair
a
enough.
musician, and sort of a distiller, so maybe he's a Renaissance man.
And again, a musician kind of like Hannibal Buress was a musician. You know what I mean?
That's putting yourself out there, yeah.
I was going to say, just because I carry around a harmonica and put it to my mouth doesn't make me a musician.
He's sort of Hannibal's sort of Renaissance.
Like, I'll
man,
sing
too.
you a little song, you know?
Just coming to the finer things of life.
Yeah.
I mean, listen.
He's lived in a lot of places. He's done a lot of different things. Joe
This
would
was the
say...
hold on. The point I wanted to bring up, you just brought up, which was Renaissance man. He just seems like a well-traveled individual.
Well-versed.
But in all fairness, like Joe would say, now this isn't a real example, but something like that, he'd say, you know, the katana blade is great. And he would say, I trained with a katana blade maker for 8 months. He kind of reminded me of
the guy from
David Lee Roth.
But
Was it
way more
David
badass.
Lee-
Yeah, David Lee Roth. Yeah.
Something about everything.
But I waited until right 2 seconds ago to actually look at what this guy looked like. And he kind of looks like a school teacher, like a big, giant school teacher.
Yeah, the coiffed hair.
Like a science homeroom, grade 9, but he's massive and fights in the MMA, you know?
Did you guys think he sounded like Aubrey Marcus?
There was some similarities
I
for
really
sure.
felt like I
You
was
mean
like,
Chris Marcus?
Yeah, can you
Chris
go by
now.
his real name,
Sorry,
please?
guys. Chris Marcus.
I don't remember what he sounds like. I don't think I've
kept thinking he was going to say something about On It.
I listened at
one of our
and a half,
sponsors.
so one of our sponsors.
Oh, I listened at
Get your
normal
Alpha
speed,
Brain.
so maybe that's where it is.
Can they?
Yeah, get Alpha Brain.
Yeah,
Correct,
get Alpha Brain.
Get your merch, get your Alpha Brain.
It's back?
I believe so. Yeah.
Well, we're sending them for nothing if they're not.
Well, try it if you're in the States.
Yeah, go
Try our link.
man.
Who knows?
But this guy came in, guns a-blazing, giving Joe a big up.
No. This guy bigged up Joe throughout.
A
Didn't just
big
come in.
up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, like he was tickling his balls, you mean?
Oh, dude, he
But
was two-handing his
respectfully,
cock.
He was
Yeah,
just giving him the...
I didn't notice. I mean, I'm the first guy to pick up on the ball tickling, but I didn't see it.
Really?
Was he really? That it was
I
heavy
don't-
on
I
that.
don't, I don't think it was inappropriate, but he was giving props.
I think maybe I only notice when I think it sounds phony, and if it seems sincere, then it seems part of the convo.
It was definitely sincere, but it made me think if all the people that have Joe's back got in a fight with all the people that don't like Joe Rogan, like it's over.
Kamar, that is a great fucking analogy. I just got a total Warriors
you know
thing
what I
in
mean,
my
though?
head. You know, of course.
Let's hope it never comes to that.
50% of Joe's fans are Chads. You know what I mean? Like
In some way, shape, or form.
not
Yeah.
Chads. Is Chad the right word? Like Biffs. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I imagine. When you like Josh Barnett loves him. That's all I was trying to keep.
But Josh Barnett isn't a Biff. You know what I mean? Josh Barnett
Renaissance man.
is like a Joshua.
Well, his name's Josh.
Yeah, I know, but
I'm
that's
sure
a
he was
perfect
a Josh
name
when he
for
was
him.
young.
Yeah, I'm sure. I bet to some people he's still Joshua.
And I feel like even though he's so thoughtful, he was just a ferocious throw everything fighter. I don't remember him fighting ever and
Oh, you don't?
seeing him or anything like that.
What kind of Josh do you think is like? No, call me Joshua.
Anthony Joshua? No,
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking of Anthony Joshua. Oh,
Well,
that's his last name.
So what,
Yeah.
I corrected
call me
myself.
Anthony Josh. Like, that just doesn't. That's not how
That's
that
kind of
works.
cool, actually.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, shorten me last name.
Yeah.
You don't mind? It's a bit long,
Make
that last
my
name.
first name longer. Call me like Anthony Mia, but
Okay.
shorten the last name.
There's some humor with Joshin.
No one uses Josh, though. Someone used it this week, and
Just
I
Josh
thought it
used
was
to, like-
great.
I use it every once in a while, but most people don't recognize it as
I heard a rapper say it, and that's why I was like, wow,
Whoa.
weird. Yeah.
a
Outdated.
British rapper.
No, I'm pretty sure it was, might have been DaBaby now that I think about it.
There's a rapper called Da Baby.
Yeah, he's killed 2 people that we know of.
I won't make fun of him then.
I wouldn't. Guy is a certified murderer. 2 people ran up on him in a Walmart, and he had a gun on him.
That's how you tell a story.
He's got the street cred. I've
Da
told that story
Baby,
before.
he kills somebody. You don't lead in with the
Yeah, he kills people.
let me make fun of Da Baby
Yeah.
and then
Simon,
let
don't
me
you have a
know
few
he
things to
kills
say about
Fanny.
DaBaby? Oh, by the way, he's murdered 2 people.
That's fair. Give you a fair warning.
Back to Josh.
Back to Josh.
Are you a whiskey guy?
I do like whiskey. You want to know what's interesting? So I listened to Cheeto Santino the other day on somebody's podcast, maybe Ari's podcast. Yeah, it was all about whiskey. And he was saying that he went to some place in Scotland and they were talking to like a heavy duty whiskey maker about how you're supposed to drink whiskey. Because I like whiskey and ginger ale. That's like my drink. But I always feel like a giant lady ordering it.
You mean rye and ginger ale or a whiskey and ginger ale?
A rye and ginger ale. But it could be whiskey and ginger ale, whatever.
Well, I think there's a big difference. I don't think people drink rye for the taste.
They call it rye whiskey, though. So yeah.
My point, though, is like a rye whiskey is meant to be mixed, I feel
sipping,
like.
not like a
whereas like a
single malt
whiskey
scotch.
is actually has a bunch of different flavor profiles. I feel like Canadian rye is just fucking trash.
Anyways, point of the story was he was saying, this master was saying, look, you cut that shit any way you want. You want to put water in it. You want to put Coke in it. Whatever makes it so you like what you're drinking. This idea of drinking something and it really not tasting good is like, you're not going to like the word I'm going to use, but it's retarded.
Especially if you're paying for it.
Well, yeah, that too. But
If someone buys you a whiskey and
I guess that's
it down to you,
different.
try
If
it, but-
you would be like slapping them in the face somehow. if
customer's
you-
always right.
Imagine I just like pull out my little pocket ginger ale.
There's an eyedropper.
Well, no, I remember. Here's a good example. I remember a manager of a bar I worked at in Toronto was not retiring. He got a job at somewhere better, and they were having like a going away party. I got invited. I show up. I bought him the most expensive bourbon they had. It was only like $40 an ounce, whatever. He was a super nice guy. He was the one that hired me. So I order it, and I go, can I also get just this much Coke in a sidecar, if you don't mind? And the guy looks at me all crooked, and he comes back, and he goes, that's the bourbon. And before he puts the Coke down, I'm not joking. He's holding it in his hand, and he goes, you're not going to mix those, are you? And I thought to myself, first of all, no, I'm not. The Coke is for me. I'm not going to cheers with nothing. But secondly, like, I just gave you $45 for this. If I want to fucking splash it all over my ball sack,
Yeah.
what the fuck do you care?
This one is for me to drink, and this one is for me to toss in your
Yeah.
face, you pretentious fuck.
I
It's
just
sort of like steaks.
Well, I mean, that I kind of get. If you do
Something
your
died.
steak well done, you should fucking go to hell.
something died for that. That's the only difference. So if you're gonna cook the shit out of a steak, why not just go have something else?
I just mean in the aspect that if you're ordering it and however the fuck you want it, man.
There's a huge difference, though.
Wait, hold on. He's right. If you're gonna finish the whole thing, sorry, go ahead.
No,
Simon.
no, no, please, please.
No, that was it.
Oh.
If you're gonna finish the whole thing, then yeah, you're right.
I was going to say there's a big difference between a bartender pouring scotch into a glass and a chef preparing your steak. Do you see the difference
But you may
there?
get attitude even from the waiter.
Yeah, but he's just pouring that drink. He didn't make the scotch. He should go fuck himself.
Oh, the
More
other
so.
thing, Kamar,
No, all the way.
you have to remember too, the waiter has to deal with the chef.
Oh no,
So the attitude you get from the waiter might be like, I have to go back and tell this Nazi fuck that you want this thing burnt to a crisp. Thanks. You better be tipping 25.
I've been that guy.
I have too. It's the worst.
The one thing when they were talking about tasting notes, though, I felt they were sort of sound a little
Stretching.
pedestrian. I've heard those tasting notes and stuff, and the wine they talked about that smell like
Cat
shit.
piss.
Cat piss is Sauvignon Blanc, but shit would be Pinot Noir. It was manure, it looks like a barnyard smell.
It's amazing, like Gewürztraminer, how it really has that alcohol, gasoline.
Yeah, exact petrol.
Petrol, yeah. But I love that wine, you know?
I love that it smells that way and
Yeah.
tastes the other way.
It's the same way some people like smelling gas. Like when I was a kid,
I still love the smell of gas.
I used to get out. I remember every time we went to the gas station, I would get out. I would stand beside my parents as they pumped gas because I love the smell.
The free high.
the free eye.
Yeah, fuck. I was a degenerate even back then.
We found out an interesting staffing setup for the Joe Rogan Experience, I think.
Yeah, that they have 4.
2 video editors. I
Two video
immediately
editors,
felt
yeah.
vindicated. I was like, oh my God.
Well, all this stuff on Jamie is just, no one can do it.
Well, I was just going to say, there's no way Jamie can do all of that. He can handle the cameras, I'm sure, but he can't do all the editing afterwards. You know?
You need 2 people to do all that thing.
But this is what I don't
They're
get.
doing clips.
So this is where, but
broken
hold on.
down clips.
But this is where I'm lost is like, they have a video editing, they have a video mixer. They must. The same way, like, this is a mixing board. They would have that for video where Jamie would be sitting there going, camera 1, camera 2. In which case, if it's recording, I don't even know why you'd have to, like, what would you need to
The
edit?
clips.
They're editing the clip, so they got to like
Even
take
then, though,
the
I don't know.
Joe Rogan beginning, clip it into the start, clip it into the end,
I
whatever
guess
they
I was,
do.
but I was
you
just
know?
thinking, like, why didn't I listen? I'm also not there. I don't know what it entails.
I don't think
people
Joe's
seem-
worried about saving money.
They need to pick out the clip
Touche.
and then
Yeah.
label the thumbnail. Well, you know all that.
But that's what I'm saying. Is it just doesn't? I guess the thing is like you said, he has so much money that why not? If you can turn it around quickly and give two people a job, do it.
And it's generating income.
I genuinely thought Jamie just did it all, though, for sure.
We did up
Yeah.
into this episode.
Maybe there's way more to it. You know, maybe they're doing more stuff than we even know. Maybe there's.
You're off mic, so no one's. Simon was saying maybe they're doing more stuff than we know.
Well, and the schedule is probably sporadic. You know
I mean,
what
I'm also sure Joe wants a quick turnaround. Like, I bet when they record, you know what I mean? Like, that was something that dawned on me a while ago, was that when they record, Jamie probably stays for an extra however many hours and does whatever the fuck. He also probably shows up early.
I wonder if it's all in-house or they send it out. I bet it's in-house.
I'm pretty sure Jamie's apartment is in.
Jamie
the
lives in the
warehouse,
studio.
yeah.
Not the worst living conditions.
No, that would be fucking sweet, man. You got a sauna, you got a deprivation tank if that's your thing.
If he moves, do you think he's still going to keep the studio and everything?
Yes,
Wow.
because I think he'll still come here and do shit because of the Comedy Store.
I think everything's changed the move with this outbreak.
I agree,
Second
but
wave.
the Comedy Store is still going to be in LA. That's if it wasn't here, I would say you are 1000% correct. He is going to make a clean break.
No need.
But I think with it being here, he's going to figure out like there are still a lot of guests that live in LA. LA's still a huge hub. I can do some of them from here. I can do some of them from there. That gives me an excuse to leave home maybe to go hang out at the Comedy Store minus the wife and kids.
Yeah, I think Brendan and Brian getting it has helped him put everything in perspective too.
Oh, for sure. But even before that, he had already decided, like after his show, even before he knew about Brendan and Brian, he had decided, I think he wasn't going to do it, but this just cemented the...
It was a powerful episode.
You're talking about the...
The fighter and the kid.
No, I was talking about this episode, Josh Barnett, even though you thought it was going to be a fighting episode, but it was just about respect and discourse and bigging up Joe.
Once it wasn't labeled MMA, I knew there was probably not going to be a lot of MMA talk.
And there was just a touch that was enough.
So Joe says, it's so weird. Since I've been like 40, I've started growing the craziest amount of back hair. I don't get it. I'm pretty sure
Joe,
that
you're
the
on testosterone.
TRT
Yeah.
makes you
Pretty
grow back
fucking
hair. I
nuts,
was
yeah.
like, there's a clear correlation there, Joe.
Why not try 2 and 2 together?
So do you think he shaves his back? Has the missus do it? Gives the business, gets her to shave the
Well,
back.
we know he shaves his balls.
I mean, the UFC is sponsored by Manscaped, so I'm sure they send Joe a fucking
Well, he's now
package.
sponsored by Manscaped.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I don't ever
Yeah.
listen to the ads anymore
I wish we were sponsored by Manscaped.
You need someone to
because
do that. You can't do it
I
yourself.
want one of those things.
because your balls are in rough shape. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, they could use some help, and this one seems like you cannot hurt yourself. I mean, hey, Manscaped,
no one's listen.
send some samples our
No
way.
one's balls are in worse shape
Pop
than
in your
mine.
car.
So yeah, please.
Well, dude, this has a fucking
I know. Can't
light
yeah,
on the end of it.
dude.
That could really help you.
Yeah, it could be a game changer.
Manscaped, you got fucking.
Pitter patter, get at her.
I like that commercial.
Pitter patter. Let's get at her.
That's from Letterkenny.
No, I think it's older than that.
That's much older than that.
I heard that when I was a kid. Yeah.
That's
Letter.
good.
Simon has spoken.
Here.
Judge Simon.
So, speaking of hairy things, have you guys ever seen those kids who, I mean, I'm sure adults have it too, but I've seen it in kids more where they get that werewolf disease
Yeah, where they have hair all over their face.
all
and
over
shit.
their face. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Sorry,
I was gonna say Donnell. Do you mind?
not away from me.
Or
They were
Lil
ta-
Duval.
they were talking about Chuck Palahniuk.
Yeah.
Our boy.
Yeah. Great author. But really a cool guy. I wish he'd be back on the show.
We did him in one of our
Throwbacks, I
throwbacks
believe.
on the
yeah.
Patreon.
Yes.
Up now
No, we did him on the regular show. He was on in the last 2 years.
for the second time. Yes, and because it was the Cacophony Society.
Yes, that was it. That's where Simon came up with it.
Well, no, the Cacophony Society, I heard him on Ari's show talking about that.
Fine, either way, you listen. But I'm telling you, we did him on a regular.
It was a regular show?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did not do him on a
his
throwback.
second time.
No,
Maybe it's the
I
second,
think
but we-
he's only been on once.
I also think he's only been on once, but all I know is that we did him on the regular show, not on a throwback.
Do you have your phone on you?
So still join the Patreon to check it out. I do.
Do you think you can check that for me?
It's crazy the Mandela effect because there's so I've had a bunch of listeners be like when the Bilzerian episode went up, they were like, I had at least 3 people who were like, "You've done this."
No, we definitely haven't.
And that's it. As I was like, listen, and then they were like, "You should really make a list." I was like, "Listen, if you think
no, we definitely should make a list.
I have a list.
Oh, do you?
Listen, I keep every single
Okay,
file for
good-
everything we
good
do.
stuff.
It'd be hilarious if we did one over again.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Completely different takes.
I
No, 'cause
actually
remember we
thought
did
I
that
picked
for one.
TJ Kirk again. I was like, as I was listening to it, I was like,
Remember
holy
Jim
shit.
Jeffries too. I was like, we did Jim Jeffries for sure.
Yeah. No, yeah.
I have them numbered in the order we've done them in a folder. It's all there.
Good stuff. Anyways, yeah, I'm really hoping for Chuck Palahniuk. So if Universe,
Well, you get what you
we
want.
are
so.
looking for Manscape and Chuck Palahniuk in
there
no
you go.
particular order.
It would appear 11:58
11:58 was his only one.
so far.
Weird. Have we really covered that many episodes of Joe Rogan?
100, almost 100, right?
No, that's how many episodes we've done. How many have we covered?
What do you mean? Like
Well,
concluding throwbacks?
he just said 11:58. This is like 15 something. So that means we've covered at least
500 episodes? No,
yeah.
it can't be.
Kamar, go back to. Can you search JRE?
Sorry, 11:84. It was 11:84.
What
and
was
it was
Chuck Palahniuk?
October 11th, 2018.
There,
October. We
el-
started in November, I thought,
I think we might have done this in the hidden tapes.
and it never made it to air. No.
Yeah, there was 3 episodes that never ever saw the light
It's
of day.
possible.
I know one of them was a lady.
But I think we started in November.
No, so we started the day they legalized pot, which was October 17th or something, 2018.
Okay.
We may have done him and not put it out. And therefore, maybe it could be a throwback.
Interesting.
So
you get there fast.
full disclosure for all listeners, well, no, because one of those episodes cannot come out. When we got all the shit, we knew nothing about what we were doing at all. We went out, we had a plan. We were like, we're going to go out, we're going to buy all this shit, and we'll figure it out. We went out, we bought the shit, we got to my place, we set it all up. We realized nothing was formatted properly. We waited 4 hours.
That's correct.
We then recorded, but we recorded improperly, so it never got, remember we couldn't...
Yeah, one of them is lost to the anal.
One of them is lost forever. 2, then we recorded and we just
It really wasn't very good.
sure. Yeah.
I think that was it.
Well, I remember you were super pissed because one of the episodes started with Kamara asking me how my week was, and I had hosted a hip hop karaoke, one of my first ones, and that guy took off his shirt and tried to fight me on stage.
What?
Yeah, but you were bummed because the story was super long, and you were kind of like, is this what we do here? We tell long stories. It was, again,
I don't remember.
Simon, it doesn't matter. It was episode
That
1.
sounds like a good story, though. I don't remember that story. He took off his shirt and he wanted to fight you? Give me the abridged version, obviously.
Well, no. So I was hosting hip hop karaoke, and the rule is you don't do any original material, as in nothing you wrote. You're not coming up to freestyle. It's not. You're not here pushing your mixtape.
You're not Hannibal Buress.
That's it. It's karaoke. You do just that. That's one of the rules. This guy comes up and he starts doing Dr. Dre. I believe Dr. Dre and Eminem.
Still Dre.
No, forget about Dre.
Oh, forget about Dre. Sorry.
Or forgot about Dre. Sorry. So he's midway through, and I can tell that he's starting to lose it. He's definitely drunk. And then I hear him. It's kind of inaudible, but I hear the word Halifax. So I'm like, I've never in any of my years heard Dr. Dre say Halifax in any of his hit songs.
Unless it's who's that one guy? Common?
No, Classified.
Classified. That's
Yeah.
impossible.
Yeah, but even then, so I listened for a bit, and then finally, so I give the DJ the sign to they're cut it, bring out the big Looney Tunes fucking cane and hook this guy off the stage. So I tell him to cut the music, and this dude immediately looks over, super pissed, super bummed, and he was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Well, come on, man, this is the deal. You can't do your own shit." He's like, "It's not my shit. This is Dr. Dre. What are you, dumb?" And I was like, "I've never heard Dr. Dre say Halifax ever." I say that to him, and he gets super pissed. And so he grabs the mic back and he's like, "Fuck this!" So he just starts rapping, and I go, well, that's not how, I was like, there's another mic. So I grab the other mic and I go, well, that's not how this works, my man. So you're done for the night. And he goes, fuck that. I'm definitely not done for the night. And he rips his shirt off and he starts like flexing at me. Now the bouncer's like a 400-pound Haitian dude that I've worked with at multiple bars. We're good together. I know that there's a speaker because it's the old Zaphods, right? So you remember how they had the speaker at the front door? So I just say into the mic, I'm like, Franzi, you want to just come to the stage? And not 2 seconds later, this 400-pound Haitian dude is standing there like pointing at the guy like, you. And so the dude just, then you could tell, then his shirt slowly went back on. And he was looking at me all fucking angry. And then he was like, I guess he had a conversation with Franzi outside where he's like, I don't know what that guy's problem was, man. Like, I was just rapping Dr. Dre. Like, he got all aggressive with me. And Franzi was like, that guy did not get aggressive with you. He weighs 80 pounds soaking wet.
I think it's hilarious as a universe where that guy started rapping and launched a rap career. Like everything just felt.
It actually was classified.
Everything was
Well,
just
it's
amazing.
like that story I was telling you about those two Scottish kids who
Yes.
pretend that they're Americans. Did you hear this?
Yeah, Vice did a big piece on him.
Yeah. That is a fucking nut story, man.
It's not hard to believe.
Yeah, it is hard to believe. You know, I didn't know that Muhammad Ali was in a MMA type fight with that guy Anoki, where he was allowed to kick.
I didn't know that either.
We did not know
Kicked
that.
his
We
legs.
learned that in this
that's
episode
crazy,
as well.
man.
I didn't even learn that in this episode. I must have missed that part.
Yeah. Well,
Interesting.
Yeah, weird, eh?
Yeah.
I don't know why he would ever let himself be kicked like that. Aoki was a Japanese wrestler. Like, I guess, like maybe a WWF type wrestler. But
So a fake wrestler?
Well, I don't know. I don't
Sorry.
know what the
Sorry.
league was like, but he obviously knew martial arts because he was kicking the shit out of his legs.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
But it was some exhibition fight. It was anyway, well, weird.
Interesting.
They were talking about a little bit about how cats were revered in Egypt, and I would just started thinking if it was just a really practical thing, like there just were a lot of rats,
Rodents, yeah, that's what my
and
first
they just
go-to
took
was.
care of the rodents, and they were just part of daily life, like
We'd rather have this cute
essential.
thing crawling around than
And
rats.
that's why they're in all the
But that also could be why they're revered.
the
'cause they-
hieroglyphs.
Well, it might have been the plague was rolling around with these fucking rats, and people couldn't figure it out back then. So they were just like,
Right.
rats
So
are the
they
bringer
were
of
saying-
death.
Yeah, no, totally.
And then cats
that's
are
how
the killer
things
of yeah.
become revered.
Or they're the aliens.
Possibly.
Or aliens.
I
yeah.
was thinking more like a microwave. You know what I mean? And microwaves or whatever. The television ends up in a lot of pictures of your family because it's part of the family. You
But it's
know?
not that important. That's interesting.
Anyways, whatever. So he started talking about banas. You know, the Russian saunas
With they
with
whip
the
you.
sticks, which Joe has talked about a million times. And he like
pretty sure it's
mansplained it to
banyan
Joe.
tree, by the way.
Banyan, banyan, not bana. Banyan.
Anyway, just checking.
Banya, I think it is. Banya.
I still know what you're saying.
Anyways, but Joe just let him go. That was like 10 minutes of
Well, in the next episode, we learn why he let him go.
why?
Because the battle between kindness and honesty.
Yeah, Joe's just a good guy. So Joe's going to be making Spotify playlists. He's
I don't give a shit.
He's very geeked on that.
It's weird that they would throw that into the deal.
I think it'll sound just like Shea
think-
106.
Do you know what I think that is, though? I think they're like, we're about to make $7 billion off this guy. Like, just fucking jerk us. Joe, how about this? You want to make a workout playlist? We'd love to hear your, you know what I mean? Like, fuck off.
But there is a chance. Mm-hmm. There's an outside chance it doesn't work.
Well, what does that mean, though?
They don't make $7 billion. Maybe they make their money back. Maybe they break even. Maybe
Well, they already
lose a
made
little
the
bit.
money.
They already made the money. They
Well,
could.
They made the money in just like Tesla's the biggest company in the world right now.
No,
4
they own
years.
stock.
But
That's
hold
worth
on.
a certain
But Kamar,
amount of
as
money.
we've learned, that seems to be what matters. It doesn't seem to matter.
Okay, if the stock goes down, but it's not Joe's fault, I don't. You guys are saying no matter what happens, this is going to be a smashing success.
Well, I don't think it could ever be a failure, if that's what you're asking.
I don't think it could be a failure. I don't want to be a failure, but just looking at everything in the digital, anything can happen. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
Quibi.
If anything, I think that this makes Spotify into maybe like a player against YouTube, and that's what we fucking need, man. We need some
But we don't even know how that's going to be. Like,
The video. What if the
Fairness.
video is a complete disaster? Anyways, I don't want it to happen. It just could happen. I was looking at, Luminary.
yeah,
They've totally lowered their buy-in. That tells me they're not doing well.
of course.
You know what I mean? So, of course we want this. It's going to be a whole new world. that we
I mean,
take
the
for
hope would be
granted.
this. What would you want out of the video? Because I was thinking about this the other day. And for me, what would be great, I guess, would be like a pop-up video style.
Everything they talk about, you can click
Or,
on.
sure, a link right away. So any video, anything Jamie pulls up, there's a hyperlink that appears on the screen. And then maybe a way where it's within Spotify that it just expands it right there to give you...
That would be amazing. But you know what would just be great is if when they were talking about a song or a movie, they could play it.
Well,
you know what I mean?
This is what we're going to see what happens.
That's the big one. This feels right now like they have their hands tied and we're not getting the best possible show because YouTube are such greedy fucks that if you play one moment of somebody else's
But
shit,
it's
they
not-
take all your money.
But they don't
you
take
know?
it. You think that goes to YouTube? That's not. That's
Yeah,
where you're.
I
No,
do.
that's where you're misunderstanding it. So if I have if you, Joe Rogan, play my song on your,
You get all the
I go after the money.
Okay, fine. So let me back up a little bit. I just think it's a silly rule because you shouldn't then be able to take all the money for that episode because of
But that's
a
how
mistake of a
listen,
second.
I agree. That's how it works, though.
But I'll take back the greedy fuck then, is what I'm saying.
This is how it should work, and I don't understand why it doesn't. For YouTube, for example, has YouTube Music. Do they not?
They do.
Is that now that's something that you have to pay extra for?
You do.
Okay, so maybe that's it then. Because what I was going to say, sorry, Kumar, go ahead.
I was just thinking how the only saving grace is maybe if they could play a lot of stuff, there'd be a lot more weird dead air. Because they put stuff up and they realize, there's people who can't hear this or see this, so we'll skip over it faster.
Well, no, they can't because now you can only watch it in one spot. So there's nothing to skip over. You know what I mean? There's no one that can watch it anywhere else.
No, he means, well, like if I'm just listening to the podcast and they're showing a
Regardless of the
video
show.
for the people
Gotcha,
watching, I'm
gotcha.
just hearing dead air.
And they just sit and end up watching because now it's playing on the video. Just
That's a
unintended
real.
consequence.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I hear you there.
But we'll see his playlist will sound like Shea 106.
But that's what I'm saying is now that problem goes away because now there's only one place to watch it. So now it's all uniform no matter what. There's not ever going to be, well, if you're watching on YouTube now, you can't hear this because now it'll just be everything's on Spotify, I assume. That's my assumption.
We'll see because they're still keeping the clips. So they'll have to not use any clips where we don't even know if they're going to allow music on the Spotify video.
I assume they will. I mean, because what I think about it, it will just be like the way around it could be Spotify plays that song from their app to you so that the artist still gets their stream, as in like you've listened to 30 seconds of the song, and then but it doesn't affect Joe Rogan. I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
It makes sense though. It doesn't.
I mean, none of us are lawyers, so
I do play one on this podcast though.
I can't even claim to do that.
from time to time.
If Joe had never left Fear Factor, if we lived in an alternate reality, who do you think would have filled that gap? Like,
As a podcaster,
yeah, or as this like alt culture. I don't even know what you call. You know what I mean? Is there anybody you
Nobody.
can think of who?
well, it's weird because deep in my heart of hearts, I think when Joe started, it was comedy and conspiracy theory, and now it just morphed into something completely different, with so many interesting guests and stuff. So it's like if there wasn't a Joe Rogan, you'd have to invent him.
No, I just think about it like, first of all, it works great because he's a comedian. So like Kumar said, it started off with just a bunch of comedian buddies.
So is there another comedian who could have done it?
Well, no, because that's the thing is I don't think there's another comedian with thirst for like weird fucking knowledge, which then translated into, Kamar's right. It started off just all conspiracy, and then, we kind of traced it to eventually you get someone like a Sam Harris who's willing to come on, and from there you just start learning about, I think it also snowballs where Joe learns one thing and it's like, I want to go deeper. And
It's like it has enough of an edge. Like when you listen to Tom Segura, there's no edge to it. And I think that sounds the stupidest way I could describe it.
an edge as in like
The edge ruffles people's feathers or whatever.
I mean,
you know,
'cause Tom Segura is very edgy on his Your Mom's House. The shit they show is
No, well, Kamar, but
what I think Kamar's trying to say.
no, that's not what I was going to say at all. What I'm saying is, on Your Mom's House, it's like they don't have those guests on. They only have comedians on. There are no fucking. They don't have neurosurgeons on and guys that wrote books about how you should breathe through your nose. That doesn't exist because they just show clips of like an Asian guy getting fucking
they
clipped by a
have
car.
guys on who try and get people to come on their face or whatever.
He's just very unique skill set that Joe brought to it that attracts so many people.
But he didn't have that skill set at the beginning. Like you said, he was a comedian and a conspiracy
And
guy.
a fighter.
And a fighter. Again.
And an actor.
Yeah, but he had a lot of lanes. See, that's the thing is like he covered a lot
He
of.
wasn't a hunter, sorry.
He covered a lot of bases. Well, there you go. And his constant evolution is what continues bringing new ears to the show. Because, like, I don't know, like you said, a hunter. People that hunted a ton and didn't listen to Joe Rogan once he got into hunting now are probably like, well, I listen to the occasional one. Who knows? Maybe there's someone doing our show, but they're like, we only cover the hunting ones.
And let's
I
forget.
definitely don't want to listen to that shit.
He's an avid pool player. I'm sure that hasn't waned, his love for pool.
Sure, but okay, so then even then in the beginning, you know, maybe there was a lot of billiard players that listened because they were like, this guy knows a lot about billiards and it's really talks to me. I don't know. I just think when you wear a lot of hats, it's easier to get a lot of ears on you. And again, it is funny for the most part. You know, it is lighthearted. It is, I don't know.
I think the answer is I couldn't imagine who would take this role. Who even takes sort of two bases or something.
He said something very interesting that I totally agree with, and I actually use in my own life. What was this guy's name again? Bannister?
Josh
Barnett. Barnett. Sorry.
Bannister?
Holy fuck. I got really lost there. He said, you know, I use you as a barometer, Joe. When somebody's talking to me and they're talking about you and they say something that is completely untrue, I know then that's somebody who is not on
It's a lot
the
of
level,
information in
you
that.
know what I mean? And I do that a lot too, where I'll be talking about Joe Rogan. If somebody just spouts off like a bunch of bullshit that they read on some liberal website or whatever, like I know, I get it. I know who
Why are
they
you quoting
you
that
know?
meathead?
Whatever. It's something I actually do.
You go, that person watches CNN.
Or whatever.
believes
I
it.
just, they're not giving Joe the fair chance he deserves. You
There's
know
no
what
way
I
they
mean?
could have.
Well, I always test those people. I'm like, oh, what was the last episode you listened to?
They never listen.
No, and that's it. They're always like, I haven't listened to any episodes. I would never. And I'm like, well, then you have no fucking clue.
It's true. Okay.
I used to drink a ton of vodka for the record. And probably because it was tasteless.
Where'd that
I
come
think
from?
that they were talking about spirits.
He was talking about spirits and
Oh.
why, because Joe said, why whiskey? And he was like, well, I don't want to do a vodka. Everyone does a vodka. It's
Right.
tasteless. It's useless. It's just something you put out for the masses. He was like, I wanted to do this because of taste. And I just thought about like, I never, ever in my life drank.
What was your drink?
When I first started drinking, first of all, I didn't start drinking until I was,
Because you don't drink beer.
no, I never drank beer. Just before I turned 19, someone got me wasted on fucking Sex on the Beaches without me knowing.
That's a shot.
No, that's a drink.
Sex on a beach?
Yeah.
I thought it was a shot.
I mean, it's a shot as well, but it's
Okay.
definitely a drink.
Okay.
You're with me? Yeah.
Yep.
Just making sure. It's been a while since I bartended. So then after that, like I was just like a Ryan Ginger guy for a long time. And then vodka. I had a drink that I named after me called the Floydie, which was vodka water with like that much flat Red Bull.
Oh, refreshing.
I remember you introduced me to vodka Red Bulls, maybe. I had never even knew that anybody mixed liquor with Red Bull. It was before a triple bogey tournament
At Babylon?
at Babylon. And
Are you
got-
sure it wasn't the
my-
money show?
No, it was my birthday.
That was a money show.
No, it was right before the triple bogey tournament.
All right. I thought that was the money show, but
And
whatever.
anyways, I got so fucked up. I fell asleep in my bed and I like fucked myself. It was crazy, man.
That's one thing I can say. I don't think I've maybe ever seen you drunk like once or twice.
Well, I was so drunk that night that I was taking the cab home and I had to stick my head out the window like a cartoon dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was definitely going to puke all over the inside of that guy's cab.
But you didn't?
Nope. Stuck my head out
Feel good story.
like the cartoon dog.
Seen Kamar drunk a few times.
I've not seen myself drunk, but I know it's not a pretty thing.
Oh, me neither.
I thought even though he had lots of stuff to sell, he wasn't really hawking it. Always bonus points. It came up all organically.
Yeah. I mean, if he was selling it, he was good at selling it. Like it's, again, I think when someone's really passionate about what they do, it doesn't seem like sales. Maybe I'm wrong.
I felt near the end when he started pushing the Wolfpack, or not the Wolfpack, I'm thinking Cenk Uygur.
I was
But the music and stuff, but still it was just his genuine excitement about it.
What was the music?
I think he's in a band.
Speaking of Cenk Uygur, I hope his band. I read today there was a band. I assume they're German called Wolfpack, and
With a V?
yeah, and
Wolf.
Wolf, yeah, and they released an album. I believe it was 11 30-second songs, all of them silence, and they encouraged you to stream their album on Spotify on repeat while you slept, and they made $20,000 off royalties.
No way.
Of nothing.
Yeah,
That's like the pet rock.
correct.
Now that's the kind of music we could do.
That's a great playlist.
The Wolfpack pack.
The Wolf.
Yeah, Wolf. All right, are we done with Josh then?
Yes.
Okay. Simon, would you like to rate it for us?
I will give this one a 3.25.
All right, Kamar.
I give this one a 4.
I'm going to match Kamar's enthusiasm. I just like this guy. I don't think I had heard him on the show before. Very well spoken. Seemed like a super nice guy. If the world had more Josh Barnetts, I think we'd be in a better position.
He didn't sound like a fighter. That sounds stupid or
Ninth
something.
grade science teacher.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm going to go 3.5. You're right. If there were more just nice dudes like that.
And the weirdest thing is he loves death metal.
I'm going back to
down a point for that.
3.25.
No, but it's just
3.25.
People are interesting. Onions.
And Kamar, you know what's weird is like when you
Onions.
said, I mean, what does a fighter sound like? You're right. But I agree with you. Like when you said it, I totally agreed. But then I thought about it and I was like, yeah, what does every fighter just sound like Nate Diaz?
But I think there's a fighter who's in the fight game, like in it, who has a hunger and sort of thing, to someone who's retired fighter. And
But
He's not
He's
retired.
not retired. Still has a hunger.
Still fights.
still fights. There you go. Yeah, he does sound like a guy who's in it, but can throw down if he has to, obviously.
Imagine if he had kids and had dad strength. You'd be champ again.
Oh, that was a weird thing how he talked about his relationship as well.
Hold on. Sorry, back up. I think the dad strength just comes with the age, Maddie. Like once you hit whatever 40, you'll also have dad strength, even though you don't have
I
kids.
definitely no, because I think there's something about like lugging 40 pounds of child around for like 6, 7, 8 years that also just adds.
Okay.
And also
All right.
never letting them be able to beat you up. Just knowing that.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, you
always
got to
gotta be
stay on
able to
top of your
hold
and
it
even
down.
then just the fire that you have that you're like, I got to watch after this thing.
It's so true. You can't ever let your kid get the best of you. So
No.
you're constantly training when nobody's watching.
Yeah.
But what I was saying is he talked about his relationship where I guess his girlfriend or fiance or whatever she was super woke.
Yeah.
And he like fell in love with her and fell into wokeness, or the love for wokeness was like, this is fucking up my life. That was very interesting and vulnerable.
You know what though? I know a lot of couples that are like that don't see eye to eye politically at all, but it works.
It does, but it didn't work for him.
No, and listen to each.
For how long?
Well, what I mean, listen. I guess we'll come back in 20 years and we'll see. You know what I mean? Like I know couples that have been together 10 years that don't see eye to eye.
Really?
Yeah.
After this podcast, you're going to have to tell me who they are.
He needs
Fair
some
enough.
names.
Do I know any of them?
I doubt it, but
Yeah, well, that's
genuinely.
not fun.
Okay, well.
Because I can't think of anybody, frankly, who have like totally differing political views that I know, except maybe I can think of one.
I mean, I remember my neighbors growing up. My neighbor was Bob Fife, the author, the guy from I guess it's CBC. He's the political pundit. Someone was saying we say that wrong.
Because I say pundit. Is that why?
I don't know. Anyway, they were total opposites. Like, she was a super feminist and he was like a conservative political writer.
I mean, imagine if your girlfriend or wife was like an uber feminist. Like, I would never be able to do that. You know what I mean?
How's the pussy?
That might have been what Josh ran into.
Again, for how long?
I like how
for how long?
I'm just
Maddie?
asking how. Well, that's why the question is, how good is the pussy, Simon?
And that's why you said come back in 20 years.
Mitigating factors.
Everything matters.
Also, he said,
Fair
sorry,
enough.
we'll get off him. There's no difference between us and a guy from Samurai Times. Remember we saying that? There's no difference between us. Technology, everything has changed, but we're still the same. Do you guys agree with that?
No.
I mean, listen, in principle, I agree. I understand the sentiment behind it, but I can't really get behind it in...
So many influences along the way.
Yeah. I mean, I think everything just changes. We learned from Levinowitz that,
Great Subway, man.
We learned from the jaw guy, the breather.
Yeah, but Levinowitz is next, and he literally was saying, I went to this village and was asking these people, hey, we're bringing, they brought lights into the village. Like, how does that make you feel? And they're like, well, we can see at night, you fucking idiot. So it's great. Like, what kind of questions are these guys asking? That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. That sort of, yeah.
That was a great Subway. Let's just get into
let's
it.
get to it.
Okay, Alan Levinowitz.
1504, Alan Levinowitz.
A religious professor.
Well, here's my problem with this episode. I thought it was great.
This episode was incredible.
One of
Great
the
energy.
best episodes of the year. I just wish he had led with the fact that his degrees came from a university of magic at the start, not in the last 3 seconds of the podcast.
I must have missed that part. What, a University of Magic?
Well, he went to a priest university or a
Got it.
Catholic
He got it. I think he got his
It was a
PhD
joke,
from a
man. It
school
wasn't
called
magic.
the Holy Divinity.
I'm just saying.
Oh, I missed that part. Fuck, really?
No, that was my own research I did after.
Look, I'm telling you, if I don't know how this got by Joe, but if at the beginning Joe had said, so, where'd you go to school, blah, 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 like normal questions that you'd ask a guest.
Yeah.
He would have been like, oh, I went to the rabbinical college, you know what I mean?
Of divinity.
Or the divinity college. And Joe would have been like, oh, okay. And then we would have
chiropractic.
got into it. Yeah, they had a huge thing about it. It's almost the same thing to me.
Yeah.
And
I
yet
get you.
totally omitted rather. It's kind of like, I'm a brain surgeon. I got my degree from a rabbi. You'd be like, whoa, slow down there, slugger,
It takes away some of his credibility.
Was the rabbi a brain surgeon?
Well, this is what we need to know, Maddie.
Okay.
What's interesting about this guy?
He was just a moil.
Oh, well,
But this guy is sort
But they're
of
both doctors, sorry.
he's dealing with one head.
this guy is a weird guy because he's sort of a debunker.
But see, this is the weird thing, because I read the blurb for this and started listening, and I was like, this doesn't feel like I'm listening to a religious scholar. Was I wrong there?
No, it doesn't bleed through. He brings it up sometimes.
I had zero idea. He brings it up, but I thought just like a normal person brought up religion. I didn't realize that he was like, and listen, it doesn't ruin it for me. Again, I should have done my own homework and found out where he was.
At the end, when I found that out, I went, that's interesting.
But at the same time, let's step back. Like, given that we listened to this guy for 3+ hours and really enjoyed it, does it really take away that where he got his PhD or his master's?
Not at all.
Especially considering that I don't think one of us.
Not at all.
Has a PhD?
Yeah,
Pretty hard
I
to-
looked at you. Maybe I didn't know. Kamar got one. I didn't.
But
know
for
about.
sure, if, we went through the whole thing and at the end I told you like my favorite thing in the world was chiropractic, I just wish you would have told me that at the beginning.
I get you.
Or you were a Scientologist or whatever. It was probably better that I didn't know.
I mean, those are bad examples.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird that they came together on chiropractic.
You got it. Yep, that's it.
Why was it weird they came
Yeah,
together
why?
there? Just out of
Everybody should
curiosity.
come together on it.
Well, obviously, some people don't, but it was like he was asking him if he consciously decides whether to call someone out for going to a chiropractor or not.
Yeah. Okay.
And as a religious guy, he could have come and said chiropractor is great. I go to the chiropractor all the time. It demonstrated that he has obviously religion in his studies, but also a mind for science. What I was saying before is his book before this book, Natural, was why gluten isn't so bad. And it was not gluten's bad, processed gluten's bad. And that's what he sort of led into with made this book about information and whatnot.
Was this the one where he was talking about the Confederate $2 bill with the Jew on it?
Yes. This was the one.
So weird. Do you know also, fun fact, for our American listeners, you might also not know this, the $2 bill is still in circulation in the U.S. to this day. The problem with it is that people believe that it is very scarce. So when they find one in circulation, they tend to immediately take it out of circulation.
And
Make
it
it a
isn't
collector's
really
item.
scarce. It's just
Well, they don't print as many of them, obviously, because it's not like I guess it's
who
not
the
a
fuck
commonly
uses
used
$2
But they
bills?
still, it's in active circulation. They print them still to this day. $2 American bill.
so sorry. Just to jump backwards for one sec.
Go ahead.
There was no intro music on this song.
Super
this
weird.
album. It just
On this
was
album.
on this episode.
I'm glad you mentioned it. I
From
forgot.
silence to
Yeah.
hello, Alan. And I
Super
was like,
weird.
what? What?
I had to rewind too. I was like, did I do something wrong here?
Jamie was taking a piss.
Yeah, it was very odd. Very odd.
Very odd. Considering it's not live,
I mean, you know what, though? There's weeks where I've...
you've never forgot the intro music.
No, but there's weeks where I've forgotten my little blurb at the beginning, and it's just right to the intro music, and I'm like, oh, I forgot something there,
And it's a
didn't I?
file away.
Well, it's just I forgot to, just one of those fucking...
That's not true. I don't know. You've never forgotten the intro music.
I've never forgotten the intro
Okay,
music.
I'll believe
That's
you.
one thing. Yeah. That'd be a pretty big matzo ball on me.
Did you guys find this guy sort of had an enjoyable naivety?
Naivete. In
He
what
was-
way?
He was super interesting. He did a lot of research, but it didn't seem profound what he was coming to. It's sort of like, it felt like, welcome to the party. Yeah. there is no good or bad. Like,
I thought it was a great conversation.
I did too.
Really tremendous.
Yeah.
Like this is going to get a really high mark from me.
These... Go ahead.
and always when someone says they don't have a smartphone or something, that gives them more credibility now, right?
These...
It's just weirdo things, you know what I mean?
It's these sleeper episodes that I find lately are getting the highest ratings from me. The ones
that's
where
what
I'm
we're
like, I have
looking for.
no idea who this guy is, don't know what to expect, and then end of 3 hours, I'm like, fuck, that was great.
And he was really happy.
Yeah.
And even though he was talking about good or bad things, or even how it can be interpreted, he was happy about it, not a doom and gloom attitude that someone else might come with.
Well, you know what I think it is too? It's like you're in the States, you're probably stuck at home if you're smart, and you're like, this guy just bought me a fucking business class trip to LA. I can be away from the family for one day in a fucking, hopefully in a safe hotel. I don't know.
Oh, I feel like this is
Everything's
the guy that
open down there,
misses
isn't
his
it?
kids.
Where
In the States, there's no hotels closed anywhere, are there?
I think everything's shutting down right now.
everything is going back to square one.
Well, it's too late for that anyway, so good
There
luck.
were like 15,000 new cases yesterday in Florida, and they're opening Disneyland. So, I mean, things are going back to normal.
Congrats, guys.
As they must.
Well, if you're an economist. So I guess Peter Schiff's going to be on this week.
The 14th, I believe, the listener who wrote in said.
I didn't even know he was coming on.
Yeah. We get
How
to hear
about that?
we get to hear all about how minimum wage is useless.
They said he was talking about how artificial comes from like its roots are manipulated.
Deception.
That's the lie, falsehood. That's what that word comes from. Every time you see that in any context, like, we should really think about that.
We should, but then I think his point was artificial flavor, artificial, all this is bad, but it gives a million more people drinks because you know what I mean? It's just...
Well, that's that whole argument, which I know Maddie doesn't care for. Like, you know, you're making a factory somewhere and it's giving people jobs, but you're paying them shitty, but they didn't have the jobs before. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what I thought the debate on natural was.
I just hate that debate because you could pay those people 50 times what you pay them and still make a ton of profit. So the argument fucking sucks.
Someone just has to prove that.
If you, would you guys like to be, I mean, I'm not saying like to be, I'm not suggesting that the world comes to an end, but if you were like the last man on earth, if you were doing like
You're Tandy.
you are legend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, with no zombies.
Not,
though.
you know what I mean. I got to stop fucking saying that. You are legend.
But
You're
no
asking
zombies.
If you want to be,
No zombies.
you want to be
Just,
the only person?
is that something you think you can handle?
No.
I don't.
Do you? Okay.
I mean, for how long? Listen, there's a limit to everything.
You don't know who's left.
Mm-hmm.
For right now, you're the last man on earth.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have the fortitude to keep on trying to see if you were the last man on earth, if you are legend? Or would you kind of a la Kamar? This is, I'm assuming what you would do, Kamar. Motorcycle, building, end it. Why bother?
Well, first of all, there's no, you
I'd give him
can
a couple days.
you can motorcycle end it at any point. So why not at least give it the old fucking schoolboy try?
So, yeah, I of course.
And what do you know? Is there news reports saying something?
No.
You know
All
nothing.
electricity
Let me just
out,
say this.
all power out.
Let me just say this.
You are legend.
Barring some sort of apocalyptic zombie shit, like let's say it's the rapture and everyone goes up but me.
Well, then you got a serious problem.
Well, no, just hear me out. What I mean though is like nothing's been looted. Nothing's been burnt. It's just, I am just the last person here. Weed's legal here. So I'm okay for a bit.
I mean, listen, if you were the last man on earth and weed was your problem, the first thing you would do is head out to one of these fucking factories.
No, but what I'm saying is like, I could just, I go to the local dispensary and I clear that one out.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I'm done with that, I go,
Yeah.
my point is, I don't know. I could do it I'd probably be okay for a month or two.
Food might break down.
No, there's so much
What
non-perishable.
if you could
Power's
have?
still on.
What if
It's
you
all the
could have
factors.
your significant other with you? Would that then? Look at Maddie. Option B. Option B. Option B.
You've seen that?
Yeah.
That clip I fucking love.
If you could have like your.
Just say not be alone.
No, but Kamar, what if it's someone you fucking despise?
Yeah,
Like,
that's totally different.
I think solitary confinement is torture, and you'd get to not despise that person.
But solitary confinement doesn't
you'd
count
kill
when
them.
it's the entire Earth. You're not confined to shit. It's just solitary.
And you're going to have everything you want except for human companionship.
The question is this.
But you will.
number
You'll
one.
have your buddy.
The question is
or your
this.
chick.
When everyone is gone,
Your boyfriend in your case.
how much do you want the things you wanted before? I think that's the real question.
The,
Like the things that you thought would have made you happy. You know what I mean? Like maybe it was a big TV. Maybe you get the biggest TV. And then you're sitting there watching it and you're like, well, I kind of wanted to play some video games on this, but there's no one left to play video games with. So,
Because you don't need a career, is that what you mean?
no, I'm not even talking about a career. I just mean like, again, like think about, like, let's say right now you're like, I want a Rolex. I really want a Rolex. Like there's no one to see that Rolex. And maybe that was where it was all tied up. Maybe you really just wanted the Rolex so that you could show it off to people and say like, hey, I have a Rolex. But if there's no one left on earth, do you give a shit about the Rolex?
But that's what I was thinking. I was thinking the reason why I want a Rolex is because I have a means to buy the Rolex.
Oh, fair enough.
It's not the actual thing. It's the
So you don't care
ability
about the
to have all that
Rolex. You,
stuff.
yeah, okay, fine.
So would you have any drive if there's nothing to do? That's what I was more getting at.
he,
Because you have everything. Allegedly, you can steal, or is it stealing? When you
no,
only
it's
put
not
stuff on?
stealing anymore.
But I mean, what is the drive? Like, I mean, yeah, you still have drive because you're trying to. I mean, that's what Simon said though. You don't know.
You don't.
So unless someone was standing there going, "You're the only one left,"
Like last man on earth, Tandy thinks he's the last man on earth,
Yeah.
and then he meets a whole bunch of other people.
And
so.
that makes the show better because it'd be a really sad show if it was just the
Well,
last man
I
on
mean,
earth.
that's You Are Legend.
But again, that first episode is really great and telling because you could tell that they had a big round table and it was like, "Hey guys, there are no options off the table.
Yeah, what happens?
What would you do? Like, bowling in a parking lot or like there's no, I don't know."
Let's move off this because it
Sure,
really didn't have
sure.
much to do with this episode. He said the expression act natural obviously is a total
Misnomer.
oxymoron. I don't know, whatever you want to. I guess it's not an oxymoron, but because acting natural, you're acting, which is pretending, and
Yeah.
it's the farthest thing. It's a very good point.
It's a good oxymoron too.
I don't think it's an oxymoron. Oxymoron is like jumbo shrimp.
Oh, you paraphrased.
No, I think I used the wrong word.
Do you think military intelligence is a oxymoron?
That's definitely an oxymoron.
And jumbo shrimp.
No, it's not. There's smart people in the military. I understand.
Definitely
Oh,
an oxymoron.
Split decision.
Fine.
They were talking about H.G. Wells and how he predicted some stuff back in a time where, you see, and this is an interesting concept. So right now, if you were predicting the future, I mean, I guess the same thing applies, but I'll play this out. You were predicting the future. You would have some technology to base your technology on. His technology was zero. They didn't have much back then. And he was predicting 2020. But I guess the same thing applies to us. We just don't know it yet.
I mean, again, you've said some fucking wild shit on this podcast where I've shot down. And who knows, maybe 300 years from now, someone will somehow be listening to this and they'll be like, this fucking maniac Jew knew exactly what he was talking about.
This is what I'm saying. We just don't know yet. It's the exact same scenario.
Of course.
We think our technology is enough to predict the future, but we're just guys sitting around a fire trying to tell you what airplanes are going to be like, you know?
And it affects a lot of places because even like the wokest person today in 100 years will be ignorant.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? So how woke or progressive are we going to get? As we see old people are like, this is crazy. And we're sort of on the in-between with anything.
Why woke? Why is woke?
Because what he's saying...
Poor choice of word.
Well, no, it's not even a poor choice of words. What he's saying is like, if you think back to 100 years, go to a white person 100 years ago that was like, I don't mind the average Negro. You know what I mean? That person was considered like the most progressive person alive back then. Right. Whereas now that seems like, again, when I just said that word, I was like, Jesus, I'm going to have to edit that one out now too. But you know what I mean?
No, I don't think you did.
I don't have to edit that one out because I was quoting, again, that was a quote of the time. But what I'm saying...
Just black in Spanish.
What I'm saying, though, is... What Kamar's saying is that person back then was looked at as, or now that person would be looked at as like a terrible racist for even saying the word. Yeah. So I'm with him in that you don't, I mean...
You can't imagine what that progressive, just like I've said for the last couple of weeks, I can't imagine what a less racist world looks like. Like, just imagine it. I want it, I hope for it, but I can't picture it.
But okay, let's talk about this racist world for a while because, like, I mean, it's weird that you say that because how much racism do you see in your life, Kamar? And I mean outward racism. I'm not talking about systemic.
I don't think any.
Okay, so then how can you not picture, I don't know, it just like, you can't picture less systemic racism?
I can't picture what the world will be like when we achieve that.
Okay.
I'm not saying I can't imagine it happening. You know what I equate it to is like weed. Okay. Weed was illegal, and it became legal. Nothing changed. It was a big change.
So all those people that said, I can't imagine the world with weed legal, nothing changed. Is that your...
What has changed? But a massive thing has changed. So maybe you just don't see it, but the world's a better place.
Well, let me ask you this. We've been talking about it. Hold on, Simon, before you get frustrated. We've been talking about this this is episode 90. We've been talking about this for 90 episodes. Right now, there's a serious discussion in our country about legalizing all drugs.
The police chief just came in.
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear, indeed. Now, that is something that 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, never would have even been discussed. Couldn't be a possibility. So, and again, if you had asked me when I was 20 what a world where all drugs were legal would look like, I couldn't. But now we have to start thinking, so I don't know. And again, maybe it looks great. Maybe everyone's just left to do their own shit quietly.
It has to be, because that's the intention, right?
Listen, I saw people doing cocaine at 4 p.m. on a patio the other day. So people are gonna do...
In a pandemic.
In a pandemic.
Fantastic.
Sharing a bill?
No one does bills. They do keys, man. If you're doing it outside on a patio...
I'm sorry, man. It's been a long time.
He's out of the game.
He's out of the game, is that you said? Come on.
Yeah, no, I'm not taking the bait on that one, Matty. I'm not interested. This was so interesting, though, when they were talking about the evil bankers in the lab talking about how they can exploit people's stomachs and the market share of people's stomach.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is what we've come to. You know what I mean? This really is on every level. The same way they did it for the internet and social media, and how they created this thing where they were saying in this, they literally went to the people who made slot machines and said, make me an algorithm to compulsively have people come back the same way they come back to the thing that they're addicted to, you know?
I was thinking about that.
Not, you know.
But I do know, yes.
Thank you.
Kamara, you were thinking about?
It's two different things. Like the Coca-Cola going for market share of the stomach is way less nefarious than what the social media companies are being. Because imagine people if they took Coca-Cola away from people.
Well, hold on.
No, it's exactly the same though, Kamar. It's sugar.
No, wait.
It's,
Well, I actually looked at this completely different than both of you. The Coca-Cola thing, to me, I didn't even look at that as nefarious at all. And the reason I say this is because Coca-Cola as a brand is an umbrella company that owns so much other shit, right? We know this. I looked at it just as like when Coke says we're looking for market share in your stomach, they're just looking to break into different, what they're saying is like, okay, so we have you at lunch because we have lunch meats and we have bread and we have this and we have this. Now we're looking to get you a breakfast, so maybe we need a cereal.
Right.
But I don't see that as nefarious as much as just like it's a
Nefarious?
food nefarious. Sorry, that was an old Canadian rap group. Nefarious. I didn't see it as like that. Like, I get it. The social media companies.
I think you're right though, Matt. I think you're absolutely right. But I think it's also the other thing. I think it's both. I think they are nefarious in the way they're trying to go after market share in your stomach, meaning they'll do anything they can to make sure that they get their shit into you, even if it's at your detriment. Also, exactly what you said.
But I mean,
those
again,
two things don't have to be mutually exclusive.
Who was the lady on last week? The corporations lady. I mean, we know that a corporation's goal is just to make the most amount of money and just become... Their goal is to crush all the other competition and become a monopoly, which is terrible for business.
And it never works out that their goal to make the most money possible in turn helps the people that they're serving. Those things just never work out that way.
I get it. My point was just that, like, when I heard that whole stomach share thing, I took that as just like business like every business does that. They're just trying. To me, it's just like you think of it as fucked up because it's a part of your body. You know what I mean? So that analogy is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. When really you just got to think about it like they're just trying to make sure that Coca-Cola is part of every meal, not Coke, the actual drink, although I'm sure they'd love that too.
Has its tentacle in
That's
something.
what I'm saying. I'm sure they would rather just make sure that you had some sort of Coca-Cola product at your table for every meal.
But if they could somehow convince the populace that Coke belonged on breakfast cereal, they would fucking do that in a heartbeat.
Of course they would, for
so
sure.
they are nefarious.
Well,
Nefarious.
listen,
they are very
there are-
nefarious, and they should go
hold
fuck
on.
themselves.
Are you really
Yeah.
getting on me right now,
Yes.
Avalanche?
I didn't say avalanche.
I know, but now we've gone to the root of your mispronunciation
Well,
problems.
you have to tell them.
Oh, Simon's mom today before the podcast, we bumped into her and she she said avalanche, but she said an avalanche, and I immediately was like, we've gone to the root of the problem.
The etymology is, I cannot say that word. What is that word?
I had it last week. It's gone. Etymology. Etymology.
Either way, she was like, it's a French word, avalanche. And I literally looked at Simon like,
It is a French
here we
word.
go.
It is a French word.
Yeah.
I mean,
Simon looks at me and goes, get her to say frontier.
she put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable, but she was close.
Either way.
Yeah, no problem.
What I was trying to say is, though, the social media companies are going for market share of your brain instead of stomach. And I think people now, younger people especially, would miss social media more than they'd miss Coca-Cola if that got taken away. Like, it's way more addictive.
But if you
media.
take Coca-Cola away from somebody who's addicted to Coca-Cola, like, I just don't think that argument is sound.
You think there's more people on Coca-Cola than social media? I don't know.
It's probably pretty fucking equivalent if you're talking about the amount of people who actually like drink Coke every day. I would.
I
think
just
that's
remember
a lot.
when they had that day on Instagram and there's the blackout.
Yeah.
People were upset that there's nothing to see
Oh,
on
no.
Instagram.
I understand. And we're really going to find out, Kamar, because they're trying to take TikTok away from these people. I ditched it a week or so ago, but
TikTok's fine. I can live with or without it.
like,
Actually, all
you
of them are
can,
fine.
but you're not a TikTok creator. You know what I mean? Like those people are. It's a whole subculture of fucking.
Of losers and
whatever.
winners, and the winners are going to be all right. That's
I
from,
don't
that's
think
from
so.
what I understand.
But these companies look at us as a unit of measure. There's no doubt about that. They're not look. We are just
No concern for our physical health or
This is
mental
what I mean.
health.
We are just money to them. And the quicker we know that, the better off we'll be. And if you want to continue to buy shit from them, like more power to you, but just know who you're buying from, you know?
They're trying to get you to buy. It's not your free choice.
Some of the time it's not. I guess it depends how strong you are. Listen, I'm as guilty as the next fucking guy. I see something fun on TV. I buy that shit.
This guy mentioned, as I said, whether it's more important to be kind or honest. You
Yeah.
guys think you have an opinion on that?
Sorry, what?
I'm realizing in my later life, as Joe said, that it probably is just better to be kind. I mean, at the end of the day, no one really gives a shit about your opinion anyway, even no matter how right you may be. People live in their own fucking world, so.
And
What was the question? I'm
Would
sorry.
you rather, is it better to be right or to be kind? Or is it
kind or honest?
Sorry, yeah.
Kind or honest?
Yes.
Like,
Remember
Again, those things are not mutually exclusive, you know?
I'm sorry they asked the question, but it's like you had a
They
bad
did?
they asked, yeah.
you had a bad haircut.
Okay.
And instead of me saying it's a bad haircut, oh, it's not that bad. And we move on with our day.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes being honest is the right thing to do.
I mean,
Or
Simon.
sometimes being kind is the right thing to do.
That's what it comes down
But
to.
I've been in that situation, and Matt and I both handled it terribly. We laughed at him, so.
I was just going to say, Simon was there when I laughed in a
But I
friend's
couldn't.
face.
I was trying not to with all my heart, you know? Maddie just was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
I believe I said, what the fuck did he do to your head?
Yeah, something like that.
But you know what, Kamara, is like seeing his face after I said that, is I was like, it didn't do him any good. It didn't make me feel better. Well, it made me feel a bit better because I laughed.
I mean, he's a good sport and he can take a joke. So, but if it was somebody who was like, you know, sensitive about it, I definitely wouldn't do that.
I think my example would be I find people who can't pronounce my name.
People
Kumar?
can't spell your name.
Well, that's
because
because it
goddamn
auto
sure.
corrects on people's phones. in all fairness.
Couple of factors. There's mispronunciations or misspellings, and I don't go out of my way. It's this or that. Like, I'll be kind, I suppose. It just
Well, yeah, you don't want to be a fucking. It's Jenny with two N's.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's not being kind. Like that's because that's for you. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's not for them.
Yeah, they don't care anyway.
They don't care anyway. Exactly.
I've had situations where people are like, "What? Your name is this?" But I thought it was this. I was like, "Oh, I just let it be." Simon's a real easy name, I guess.
So's Matt.
Never gets messed up. But I say someone says my name once a week.
Okay.
In their defense, I mean, there's a famous movie with Kumar in the title, so you know.
Absolutely, and I feel like actually it's Kamar. I feel like a dick.
Like, I'd never heard the name Kamar. You're the only Kamar I've ever heard, actually. Other than, I guess,
Kamara Usman.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's a bunch of me and
I'm
Matts
sure.
are
Listen.
very far and few between.
Oh, I'm sure there's, like most countries in the world, Matts are few and far between. But yeah, I'd never heard Kumar before. So in most people's defenses, I can see why they go Kumar. But it's Kamar, you fucking uneducated cunts.
Represent.
But I say just be nice. I think that is the key. I mean, we know you don't agree because your favorite people are fucking trolls.
Yeah, I was thinking the better comparison would be the same information's coming out of Milo as is coming out of Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro's all way more palatable.
Is Ben Shapiro more palatable? Both of those guys are using a shtick that.
I think his point, though, is like anyone is more palatable than Milo.
Yeah, all right. Sure.
Well,
But just as far as talking points, it's way more offensive coming out of Milo's mouth than Ben Shapiro's mouth.
Well, they're both minorities, right? So that's why they can get away with saying a lot of the shit that
They're
they
so
say.
similar. They're both
so
Jewish.
similar.
They're both conservative.
Milo is Jewish?
Of course.
Why are you saying of course?
Because he is.
because he wears a yarmulke.
Milo does not wear a yarmulke.
Yes, he does.
No, he does not.
Yes, he does.
No, show me a picture.
Oh, I don't have my phone.
Yeah, it's not true.
I'm sure it doesn't change anything.
No, but it does not. But you're sure of that?
Positive.
Yiannopoulos. I've never heard that name.
I believe that's
before.
Greek.
It's definitely Greek.
I didn't even know there were Greek Jews.
And something new every day, don't you?
Every day.
Simon?
I'm gonna have to double check that though.
Okay.
Stay tuned. Do you guys think it's interesting coincidence that Coca-Cola, speaking of Coca-Cola, is intrinsically tied into the drug trade? Because
We know why. Because they use cocaine as an ingredient.
and they extract it and then sell that to the
they
government.
Sell the cocaine to the
Which then you think that the government doesn't turn back onto the street?
I'm
They
sure
don't
they
sell it
just
to the
tested
government.
on
They sell it to
mice.
pharmaceutical companies.
I think they have to sell it to the government.
No, I'm pretty sure they sell it to pharmaceutical companies.
Okay, either way.
Just saying.
They could buy it. The government could buy it then. Just under guise of a pharmaceutical company. Put it back onto the street.
So you think the government is selling all the street cocaine in
I
America?
think the government is bringing in a lot of the street cocaine that's in America. Do you disagree?
We've already known that.
We know that.
Well, I think we know that they used to do that. I think now, but no, hold on, just hear me out. I think the argument could be made that they brought it all in at first, and now they're like, we just let them do it because we told them how, and
Possibly.
that's all I'm saying.
Or, we assume that when they get caught, because we know about it, that they're just not doing it. They're just better at hiding it now.
Simon, to me, my point was more just that I think it's easier for them to just teach people how to do it and then fuck off. You know what I mean? And then the flow of cocaine is just coming in, and then they've washed their hands of it.
No, unless there are people in the government who want to make money on the side.
But hospitals have cocaine
Yep.
as an anesthetic, so they need it to come in
So
somewhere.
there you go, I guess. Do they need it? I don't think they use it anymore. What do they use cocaine for in the hospital?
Friday
Doctors.
nights.
For long nights,
Make
yeah.
sure the doctor can get
Exactly.
through the surgery. But no, I mean, they use morphine. I'm not sure if they still use coke for stuff.
I think it's some sort of painkiller, but it's topical.
Maybe you
For
can
fast or
use
something.
it. Yeah, something. I
don't know. I'm not a doctor.
You play one on this podcast
It
sometimes.
just smells good.
Suppository, cocaine suppository.
They have those. Do they have those?
You said that with such certainty that I was like, whoa, now I have to ask Simon.
I've never done a cocaine suppository, but that would be a good way to like save your nostrils, I guess. But I think half the fun is like feeling the drip,
The ritual.
the drip, drip, drip.
So you'd rather snort it up your ass than up your nose?
As long as I can feel the drip.
If Joey Diaz blows it up your ass, you've made it.
Ass. Did you hear him talking today? That's what he was talking about. That's what made me laugh so hard. He was talking about how
swab.
he can't get a swab test because what they would come back with from his nose. And he's talking about all this stuff. And at one point, and I'm laughing, I'm dying, I can't breathe. And at one point he's like, and ass dust. And Joe's like, ass dust? And he's like, yeah, when you go in there to eat the ass and a little bit of dust comes out, but you're a man, so you don't say nothing. That's the worst Joey Diaz impression ever, but you get the point.
COVID is getting past ass dust.
So basically, Coca-Cola inadvertently is like the number one supplier of Coke to a lot of things.
Not
You
inadvertently.
think, or you did this research?
No, I'm just making all of this
Okay,
up.
of course.
But I'm saying, like, if they're supplying hospitals and the illegal drug trade and the fucking gov,
They shouldn't be worried about stomach share.
they just want all the money. That's the problem, right? And that's what somebody was talking about, maybe not in this show, but you're a billionaire, you know what I mean? You're done. Everybody's taken care of for as long as you can possibly imagine until the earth explodes. You guys are good. Like, you don't need to be out here anymore. Just,
I'm the one that said put a hard cap on wealth.
well, I mean, after $1 billion.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Make it fucking high. I don't care. But who the fuck needs more than $1 billion?
And if you need more than $1 billion, you're selfish.
You know that the guy Tesla there, Elon Musk, who is going to be the head of NASA in Kanye's cabinet.
I mean, his dad started it.
Exactly.
Sorry, he didn't start it.
He basically started it. No, I think he did start it, Matt. I think you were totally correct in that statement. Yeah.
No, we know NASA started before.
No, I'm not sure it was. I think the formation of NASA happened after World War II.
So there you go.
All because of Elon's
dad started it.
Werner.
Maybe Kanye is somehow related.
I'll do some research. So Mini Werner, Elon there, he is the top paid
CEO
yes
in the world.
Yep.
What's his annual salary? Because I thought he was one of those $1 a year dickheads.
117 million or something, more than that.
It feels like he's
like
the only CEO that actually earns
190 something million. Sorry?
It feels like he's the only CEO that actually earns
You know,
it.
I thought so too, because you would hear the stories of him, doing all
sleeping there,
floor. And then you think about all the things he's doing, and now I think he's so crooked. I wonder how much of this he actually does. How much of this is just like,
but like 2 years ago,
a total
3 years ago,
sham.
Tesla stock was like $100.
He's sleeping on the factory floor.
$1,400.
Like, well, that's exactly the point. We think, oh, Elon, he's so amazing. He's digging Hyperloop or whatever to get everybody places faster. They've dug a hole. Like, we know this is happening. What the fuck do we know is happening? You know what I mean? There's one hole. It's like Matt said. He's selling cars he hasn't made yet.
But do you think
he is the epitome of a snake oil salesman?
But do you think he has a Wozniak? I just feel like it's all him. He must have some smart people that just aren't getting credit that are coming with some of these.
His poppy.
Kamar, there has to be a ton of smart people working at Tesla, of course.
Or
he's just
SpaceX and everything else.
He's not the only smart dude in there, and like the whole company's at a standstill until Elon figures out the calculation.
But everyone still says Steve Jobs. You talk about Apple.
Kamar, at this point, I assume that Elon has gone after everyone at JPL and probably has a bunch of them. Half, I would assume. Jet Propulsion Lab.
Just headhunt.
Yeah. Like that used to be where the smartest minds were.
Everyone from Skunkworks, like Elon took all those guys.
I've just always asked, what does a CEO really do? And if there's ever a CEO that I think does something and I can't qualify it, it's Elon.
I think the question is this. There's no amount of work you could put in as a CEO that should earn you $119 million. The only thing that should earn you $119 million is profit share in a company. There should never be a salary that gets you that kind of money. It's like, break that down to daily. What is that company paying you to do on the daily?
You see Patrick Mahomes just signed a $500 million deal?
Yeah, but it's so fucking ass heavy that it doesn't even make sense to me. Did you look at it? The breakdown of it?
$45 million a year.
That's at the end. He gets $35 million a year. Due to that, next year he's making like $900,000. Doesn't even make sense. Guy's a fucking maniac. You know what I think it is though? I think it's that he was leaving them enough room where he wants to win Super Bowls now, but he's like, you're going to fucking pay me later. But I don't think he's going to get that money later. If you think he's getting...
It's just say, for argument's sake, it's $45 million a year, and they play...
But it's not. That's the thing.
No, I'm just...
Okay,
just
fine. For the sake of argument,
it
sure.
could be $10 million a year or whatever, but it's around $25 million a year. They only play 18 games. So he's definitely getting $1 million a game. And they say, well, the practice and stuff, like it's...
Well, 18 games. He's going to go to that kid's going to Super Bowls. So let's argue that he's playing 20 games. But yeah, you're right. $1 million a game.
And this won't be the end of salaries like this. There will be someone in 5 years who gets $100 million a
Fine,
year.
but okay, those salaries are a little bit different. He's literally putting his health on the line. I'm talking about a guy in a suit. I'm talking about a guy in a suit that makes decisions for a company.
Well, hopefully, if they are taking the fall, you know what I mean? Like, they don't, but that would be why they're getting all that money. If something goes wrong, their head rolls, they go to jail. But that's not the case. I'm just trying to figure out any way someone can earn that money, and we're not coming up with it.
There, you just made a great point. The worst thing that's going to happen to the CEO, as long as the company isn't doing illegal shit, is they get fired. You could lose that company every dollar. You're just going to get fired. Why are you making $100 million? Like, imagine being a shareholder in that company and finding out that the CEO was making $100 million a year.
Well,
With
as long
no
as you're
risk.
as long as you're getting a return, you don't mind.
That's my
the
point.
big part
That's my
is the
point.
no risk.
I'm sitting there putting my money up,
Where every-
and if something goes wrong with the company, I lose my investment. This fucking Yahoo, and that's exactly what happened with the banking.
And they all got raises.
Yeah,
And nothing's changed.
but that's our fault. We, the people, just handed them a check.
That's not our fault.
It's natural.
That's the American people's fault.
It's the
Fine,
natural
I
way.
meant-
It happens here.
I meant they could have and should have said to the banks, "Hey, listen, we'll bail you out, but here's a laundry list of shit you're not doing anymore, ever. Not just this year or next year." They didn't.
And it should have been a bailout with you pay us back at some point. Like you're about to make a
Well, the
shit
car
ton
companies
of
paid
money.
them back.
They did pay them back.
Did they?
No, they didn't. I don't think the
all
banks
the banks
did.
paid them back.
I don't think so.
They make so much money.
I don't think the banks paid them back, though.
I think they did.
Well, we'll find out with Peter Schiff
Like
for sure.
I read something today that the Catholic Church got like 1.2 something. I have the thing written down. A whole lot of money from like they finally got their COVID money.
Judd Apatow got a
And
shitload.
the reason they need it is because they spent so much money fighting the sex kid crimes.
That's
you know
insane,
what I mean?
though. They got
That-
$1.5 billion,
There you go.
and they don't pay taxes.
Right. And again, the only expenses they really have are fighting these fucking travesties.
But what I was saying, they don't pay taxes. They're asked for money that they don't ever contribute to. It's the weirdest thing.
It's
At least
crazy.
Judd Apatow is making a bunch
It's
of
all
movies,
to-
and those movies pay taxes.
Well, that's for your boy to buy votes, man.
who?
Trump.
Yeah, he's gonna have to try something to win.
So
He's gonna win.
this is what I think, okay? Nothing about Trump. This is something totally different. So the internet has given everybody this ability to not say whatever they want whenever they want type of deal, you know? Where before you could say whatever you want to the people in your proximity. I mean, whatever happened after that happened, you know? But like physically, you could go out and as far as you could yell, you could say your shit. If you wanted to get your voice out to a large amount of people, you had to do something, i.e., write a book, make a movie, right? Like you had to create something in order to get your voice out there. And I really think that's what we've lost.
And to offend someone or inspire someone.
This is what I'm saying. Like now you could be some schmuck who lives in their fucking basement or wherever, and like you get to talk to somebody a million miles away from you. That's not how that works. That's not how that's supposed to work.
But it's like it's not natural, but it's natural.
It's natural. Well, it's natural because that's what we do. And I don't know if I love that argument. You know what I mean? Like because that's where we're at now, it makes it natural.
Well, I think that's what I'm just saying. I think that's what this guy's book was
All about.
was
Absolutely.
almost contradictory.
Well, that's what he was saying. He was saying, as I was writing this, I was like, it's both things.
Welcome to the party.
Yeah, well, that's being human is messy, right?
And we like it, or some people like it, and some people think it can be changed. I think it can't be changed. It is just a beautiful system.
I think asking women with high testosterone to take some sort of fucking drug to level them out is insane. That's the craziest shit ever.
Takes balls.
This guy really did a good job of talking to Joe about the transgender sports issue, though. I was surprised that Joe showed this guy a lot of respect.
Well, he disarmed him in just being so kind and
Absolutely.
positivity.
And I wonder, you know, the me who sees conspiracy everywhere, if he had learned at the beginning that this guy was like super religious, would he have
You'd have to ask him, and he'd
been
only
so
answer
quick
off
to?
air.
Well, you know that what Joe thinks about religion.
For the most part, yeah. I haven't heard
Yeah.
what he maybe he's changed his mind.
Maybe.
Oh, that was one of the most interesting things. I think it was this episode. We've been going back and forth about this for 90 episodes. He was like, if someone comes on here and they're like, hey, there's this thing in my past that I really would prefer we didn't talk about, I'm not going to be a dick. I'm not going to bring it up. I don't talk about it. And I immediately was like, thank you. Like Adam Perry Lang, perfect example.
But
Could we maybe not?
There's
could,
a list.
No, but I'm saying that was like the most recent one where it's like, hey, could we maybe not mention that I was Epstein's private chef for a decade? You know, like
That's just one of a million examples.
Yeah.
of course.
No,
We'd
I
love to
totally agree, Matt. But the way I look at it is, if Adam Perry Lang had that huge a thing to hide, he just shouldn't have been on the Rogan show.
Josh Holmes.
Can you maybe see that point of view?
Remember the Josh Holmes? He didn't talk about the
Who's
terrorist
Josh
attack?
Holmes?
The lead singer of Queens of Stone Age.
Yeah, that was totally different though. That's like a personal.
I mean, you watched people get massacred. I would
Hold
understand.
on. Yeah, that's a person, like something bad that happened to him personally, as opposed to, maybe being involved in a sex scandal.
Kamar, you're almost never going to hear me use this word, but you could argue that for Josh Holmes, it might have been a little bit of a trigger. Just again, like mentally for PTSD sake, this is again one of the only times I'll use that word, but you watched 50, 60 people get gunned down in front of you. You nearly lost your life. You nearly lost all your bandmates. I could see why you wouldn't want to talk about that.
I just
That's my
don't
thing.
see them exactly as the same thing.
No, I was just saying he might say, I just don't want to talk about, hey, it's cool to meet you. I just don't want to talk about this.
I guess, yeah.
Right. But who's the guy from Queens of the Stone Age? Josh Holmes. He could say to Joe, I don't want to talk about that. I still think he should be on the podcast. But if this guy said, what else did he have to offer? Do you know what I mean?
Just the chef example?
That's what I'm saying. And if you have that big a secret that you got to hide, then you should just probably not go on such a huge platform.
You think specifically that's what Joe was talking about? As among many.
For me, that was the one that immediately jumped out to me.
I didn't even think of that.
And I'll tell you why.
Right
I'll
now,
tell you why,
yeah.
Kamar, is I thought to myself, okay, Joe's bringing this guy on as a favor to help his restaurant out in a really tough time.
Yep.
The last, and I mean the absolute fucking last thing you would want to do is shed light on the fact that this guy was even associated, even if he was in the kitchen slaving and didn't know anything about any fucked up shit.
I'm not
last thing you want to
saying
do.
Joe should have. I think Joe did the right
No,
thing.
I know.
I just don't think the guy should have been on the show. I think putting himself out there, because it opens the door to conspiracy idiots like me who are going to find out anyways. You know what I mean? Like, otherwise, this guy's not even like on your mind at all.
I just think for
The
me,
list we want to know.
I think for me, someone like Adam Perry Lang, I think Joe asked him, hey, do you want to come on? And he says, hey, listen, I get that you're trying to do me a favor. I'd like to come on. You should know I was Epstein's chef for 10 years. And if that comes out at a time this.
Let me send my general manager instead.
I don't think that happened. I don't think Joe knew. It just got through. And I think there's other examples. But I can't think of them. I'd love to know them.
I have to assume. Listen, he's best friends with Eddie Bravo.
I'm just trying to think of anyone else where there's something there didn't want to talk about. Maybe Robert Downey Jr. Don't talk about
Maybe he knew about Dalia too.
But remember one of our things with Robert Downey Jr. is didn't talk about recovery or anything.
Yeah. But I think that's a big thing with Downey Jr. because I've seen him get offended in other interviews where he's like, why are you bringing this up to people? And he really doesn't want to talk
And
about
again, that's a personal, like, I don't know. I would never force somebody to talk about their sobriety. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't either, but I said this at the time. I feel like someone like Robert Downey Jr. does struggling people a disservice by not talking about his.
Maybe so, Matt.
I
but
get it.
that's
It's
a
his own
totally
struggle.
different
I
argument,
get it.
you
And
know?
it's his own struggle and he's not forced to do anything. My personal opinion on that matter is you should be open with struggles you've been through and made it out of.
I don't care if it's personal or conspiratorial. I'm just racking my brain in possible examples where that happened.
Where he stopped, where people have asked him not to talk about something. I'm sure it happens all the time, Kamar, and we just don't even think about
And there
it.
may be some podcasts that have never come to light.
No, I think just more like, listen, I'm in the midst of a divorce. Can we not talk about my wife? Or, you know what I mean? Whatever.
Absolutely.
Whatever. Or maybe Joe's like, sees the guy out at like these bars and he's like, I don't want to talk about that. Like there could be anything, you know?
Yeah, I just wonder what it was.
He
Oh, you're hilarious. Simon's so pissed.
no, it's like
getting there.
impossible for me to argue now.
What else do you have there for this guy? We got to move on.
Yeah, we're gonna. And then, okay.
I'm not trying to be a dick. We just
No, he said something really good where he's like, honey, I can't come to bed right now. Somebody's wrong on the internet. That joke,
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
I think it's ironic too. I got in. Someone posted something the other day about a local bar owner being racist, and he really only said it. He really only made this post because they have a previous beef, and then everyone else chimed in and was like, "Yeah, they're definitely racist over there. Fuck that place. Let's cancel them." And I just had enough, so I commented, and I pretty much said what this guy said. I was like, "You guys are fucked." I was like, "You're all talking about racism and this, that, and the next." I was like, "You're all doing it on an iPhone. A slave in fucking Congo had to dig for the minerals to make it." I didn't even think about Foxconn and the fact that a slave then actually made the phone. But like, shut the fuck up.
Well, he said it. He said, look, I'm a hypocrite like everybody else.
Yeah,
I
we all
just
are.
admit it.
Yes.
Like, don't. Again, my least favorite people are the people who are trying to like tell me something I know. And I don't mean we're differing on opinions. I mean like a fact that I know to not be true. Like just so far removed from logic, you know, I can't listen. I have tons of friends who I'm just like, we're done. You know, I can't do this anymore. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but see, I feel like that's a dangerous path to go down. And the only reason I say that is because then you get stuck in a vacuum chamber of just opinions that mirror yours.
No, I don't mean that, Maddie.
Okay.
I mean, like, don't try and sell me farts and tell me it's cologne. You know what I mean? You don't know what I mean. I don't know what I mean. I'm not saying that anymore. My point is, like, look, we have mutual friends who will like tell you that the sky is blue that the sky is fucking yellow.
I was about to say, I was like, is the sky not blue?
And you're like, we all look at the same sky. We know it's fucking blue. You've somehow convinced yourself it's yellow. It doesn't fucking make it yellow.
Are you talking about Kamar? Because he's right here.
No.
I think this guy's blue.
I'm sure you do. No, I'm not talking about Kamar.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Listen, again, Simon, I think truly in 2020, everyone is actually living in their own world. And this is why more than ever, I'm like, we're definitely in a simulation. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm going to continue playing it because I guess mine is not as bad as someone else's, but
Well,
no way
it's
this.
good that you're not driving the motorcycle off the roof.
No, but no way this is real. No way. Impossible. That's where I'm at.
Or that's just exactly what real would be like. Like we had just gotten so used to like unrandomness where we should have been expecting.
But like I said, Simon, I mean, you meet people every day that are living in a different world than you. Do you not?
I do.
And that's my point. Is it just,
Everybody lives their own story. You're the main character in your own play.
that's it. Shakespeare.
Oh no, I think that's Simon.
No. Shakespeare said we're all playwrights. I'm never going to quote it properly.
We're all life is a stage, and
we're
we're
all-
merely players.
That's what he said.
I
You
don't
said
think
the other
that's
one.
the quote.
No. Should I find the quote?
No, please don't.
Why not? Okay.
All right, do it. Whatever you want, man.
Can we rate this
Yeah,
one then? Are we
let's
done?
do this.
Okay.
Oh, can I just ask one last question?
Yeah.
Steak gets made in a lab. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not meat anymore, meaning no animal died to get that meat. But it tastes exactly like steak. Everything is identical to steak. It cooks the same way. Do you care?
No.
No, I do not.
You are definitely going to the lab steak and stopping killing the cows.
Isn't it like $10,000 a steak right now? So I'm not going anywhere.
Everything is the same. Price is the same. Meat is the same.
Wouldn't it be cheaper? Should be cheaper.
But let's just say it
Okay, fine,
wasn't
for the
cheaper.
sake of
Let's,
argument, fine.
let's just say it
Okay,
was
okay.
the same.
Okay.
Are you okay with eating lab-made meat? That's my question to you.
Absolutely.
Okay, good to know.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players.
I wonder if he said
Longer
men or
than
women.
that.
I
was
wonder if he
close.
said man or women.
This is the exact quote. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. One man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. That's it. That was the exact quote.
Good one.
One thing he was talking about at the Olympics.
He was talking about the Olympics?
The Olympics, how it was all men at
yeah.
first. But it was also all naked. And I think they should go back to naked Olympics.
The pole vault would be unwatchable.
All of them.
The pole vault would
most
be,
of them would be unwatchable.
The pole vault would
or
be
too distracting.
unwatchable. Flopping dicks. Just,
And
you
the
want
high
to see
jump.
20-foot flopping dicks?
So many
You want to see
events.
someone 20 feet in the air with their dick flopping
Wrestling
around?
would be
Name an
bad.
event. Name an
Wrestling would be
event.
awful too. I mean, wrestling would just be straight
Them
up
starting
like, close to gay sex.
sprinting. Think about the start of
The
a
hurdles.
sprint.
Dick, dick,
Oh,
dick, dick, dick,
yeah,
dick, dick,
that would be
dick,
tough.
But think just a slow motion pole vaulter.
The dude on the pommel horse.
Oh,
You know what is the biggest scam of all times? Just off of the Olympics for a
Go nuts.
second is the fucking buying your wife a diamond ring that's 3 months salary, and you're like, yeah, no, that's just what you're supposed to do. Why is that what you're supposed to do? Because fucking De Beers made a
Diamond
commercial that told you that's what you're supposed to do, and that just caught on, and now that's what people do.
Unfortunately for men. Love struck men.
It's crazy how that to me, Matt, is why I think we live in a simulation.
there you go. Reason number 2.
Yeah, the rings.
I'll write a book. That's reason number 2. The rings. Okay, let's rate them then. We're done.
Okay.
You have that much more, really?
Wow, they talked about it. It was
I mean,
almost
listen,
4 hours.
I know it was almost 4 hours. We've given this guy an hour, and we really have to move on. We're about to do 4 hours ourselves. So.
Yeah, I
we're in
got like
trouble.
another 7 pages. So
Okay,
forget
I'm
it.
really sorry,
Yeah,
Simon.
no,
I
we're
hate
done.
to do that.
We'll do it in the post show because that's what the post show is for.
Fuck yeah.
Do you want to rate it, Simon?
I
or
do.
Kumar, one of you?
Go ahead, Kumar.
Great discussion. Like I said, there's just some sort of weird naivety you brought. Like, welcome to the party. Yeah, it's fucked up, the world. I give it a 4.
I too give it a 4. Sorry to jump in.
And I am as well. We have an agreement. I'm going to give it a 4. I would have given it a 4.5, but you know me. I'm a little fucked up over that whole
Religion.
biblical college degree.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, you know what? This is the problem, though. Is we've spoken about this before. Like, you get a degree when you're young, and you get into school when you're young, and you don't know. So maybe this guy was like 18, fresh out of high school,
And it
just
shouldn't impact it at all. And I say it all the time. People change and blah, blah, blah. I just wish it had come out at the start. They had talked about it a little bit. He had explained why his university is totally normal. And, you know, he is not religious at all. It was just a place maybe that he got a scholarship, like to play fucking rugby or something. I don't know. It would have
get
been
it.
nice
I
to
get
have
it.
the conversation.
my whole
Just
thing
to
is
set the ground
I'm
rules.
just done looking down at people for shit like that. You know what? Everyone looks down at everyone for everything. People look at whatever. Fuck it.
He was just so happy to be there. He almost cried at the end.
I'm not looking down at
know-
it.
I'm not-
Matt,
wasn't
but
saying
I
you.
want to know. This guy seemed like such a open-minded guy.
How
but
did he
then
end up there?
imagine if he was like staunch on pick a religious idea that you just find insane, abortion or whatever. And you're like, holy shit, like he's totally reasonable. It's the Ben Shapiro argument.
Okay,
like
but-
he's reasonable on this, but then he won't go to the gay guy's wedding. You
Okay,
know
but,
what I mean?
hear me out, Simon. It's so rare that all of your fucking viewpoints align with someone else's, right? So, no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, that's all I was going to say is like, so if I agree with 95% of what this guy's throwing out and then 5%, like, I mean, I'll keep in mind, if that 5% is wicked heinous,
There are certain things, certain lines where I'm going to get stuck on. I'm with you. I'm pretty open-minded to whatever.
like,
but
I get it. If this guy says all the stuff he says and at the end is like, but I don't think the Holocaust really happened, then
Bingo.
sure, I get it. You're like, okay, well, now, hold
Bingo.
on. Now I have to change my whole thing.
there are certain things within the Catholic religion
Sure.
where that, look, if you were like, no, we don't rape kids, period. I don't believe that. That's a fucking lie. Then what do we do?
Had they
You know
gone
what
down
I
that
mean?
road, it would have ruined this podcast, though.
He probably doesn't believe that. He seemed like a totally level-headed
But
gentleman.
hold on, but they spoke about this too, how like if he uses, like, let's say he's never seen any of that in religion and he's only used, and religion for him has only been a positive in his life, then for him, it's really tough to have you sit there and be like, religion's all about kid rape and how can you be a part of it? Because for him, he's like,
Yep.
I'm not really a part of it and I've only used it for positive. So
My answer to that would be, I think her name was Megan Phelps.
yeah, They spoke about her in this episode, yeah.
You know, like she thought everything was normal too until she got the internet. She thought she was living a righteous life.
But hear me out. She might still live a religious life. She just might not live it psychopathically.
And I'm okay with that. I just wanted to know where this guy was coming from. Like,
Fair enough.
Listen,
but
I was listening to him. I was taking all his shit to heart because I thought he was really smart and level-headed. And it's to my own detriment that I wasn't able to have boundaries to know where everybody was coming from.
So let me ask you though, just based on the 3.5+ hour conversation that you heard this guy have, can you not make assumptions that he's probably somewhat level-headed
I'm going to make that assumption.
And that's what I did too.
And that's why I gave him a 4.
Okay.
If I had thought, if it was really outraged me, we would have been in the 2s.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah. Well,
sorry for
we
asking.
can be done. Sorry, it's really hot.
That's fine. We're going to take a break. We'll, I don't know, pay a bill potentially. And then we'll be back.
Sorry.
Name and a number.
Good stuff.
Hannibal Buress.
1505, Hannibal Buress. Spent a month in Thailand learning Muay Thai.
Koh Samui.
Mai Tai, learning how to make Mai Tais on the beach.
Yeah. Nitnoi.
Yeah.
Interesting fact about Thailand, they just are looking at legalizing gay marriage.
Yeah. Don't forget, I was
very
there. I was there last year. Interesting place. Hot as fuck. Like the heat in Ottawa this week, Thailand always.
It was too hot this week.
It was for our American listeners, it was 111.5 degrees in Ottawa on Wednesday.
It was 49 one day, right?
It was
with the Humidex.
Something like that, 48.
It got to 48?
With the Humidex.
Yeah, like it was only 30 whatever.
Still 44.
39.
44 is 111 Fahrenheit. So if it was 48 degrees, that must have been 100. Must have been 120 degrees Fahrenheit.
It was hot as shit.
It was insane. It's unbearable.
I like Hannibal Buress because I feel like he's his own island.
Am I the only one that doesn't find him at all funny?
You find him not funny.
Yeah.
I like him. I thought it was an interesting conversation.
Didn't say I don't
but
like him.
all that harmonica playing and the singing and it seemed
Well, this is what happens when you take stand-up away from comedians.
desperado.
This is,
Absolutely. He was putting himself out there and just trying new things.
well, even when he dropped his 2 like COVID jokes and Joe was like, no.
Oh, you saw him looking for approval.
He tried a lot with the singing where Joe was just not having it at all.
The rhyming
Yeah, the rhyme.
Rapping.
Yeah.
went right over Joe's head. But an interesting thing happened in this episode. When Joe hears something he likes to repeat it. And then this episode it was out of pocket.
Yeah.
Because Hannibal was describing his special, and then Joe immediately got into a story that he could then describe how he paid out of pocket.
What do you mean?
Hannibal is saying he paid out of pocket for his special. Out of pocket being, I spent my own money.
I understand what out of pocket means.
And so he told Joe that story.
Yes.
And Joe turned around right away and said, yeah, I paid out of pocket for my special.
He did?
He did.
For which special?
Why would you assume he didn't? He's rich as
I think it was
fuck.
Strange Times. Remember he said Netflix was going to come in, but I want to do it myself.
But it was a Netflix special.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like Chappelle's 2 were Netflix specials. He sold them to Netflix.
Okay, gotcha.
So like he had gone out, record same thing.
Okay.
I just thought it was a cute little Joe pickup.
Imagine having the balls to like be like, I mean, I guess when you're at the top, who cares? Like Louis C.K. did it, Chappelle did it. They're at the top. So I guess it's not even the same. But imagine just being like, I'm just going to throw $500,000 at my own funny. See if someone buys it.
You got to gamble on yourself.
Yeah. Not me. Not me.
Well, and I guess at that point, it's not even a gamble.
Again, you're Chappelle.
Like they're only doing that. You're not having Netflix pay for it because you know you're going to sell it to Netflix for more than they would have paid you, right? Like it's a dollars and cents thing. I don't think they're taking any risk at all.
Speaking of which, we didn't bring it up last week. It sounds like Eddie Murphy's special is in doubt.
In peril? Why?
Well, just because I think his whole thing was he was like going out and kind of getting his legs under him again, but COVID really just took it all away. And I don't think he's, he's getting old. So I think.
How can he record if he hasn't even gotten out there to practice?
Gotta get the reps.
Well, that's it. Yeah. No one wants to see a fucking.
Well, maybe it'll just push it back another 2 years or whatever.
Yeah, but I think it, well, maybe, yeah. I guess who cares?
He doesn't have to do big venues to practice.
He's got to do some venues.
No, of course. But some venues are going to open. Like Joe was saying in the Fight Companion this week, because he was asking Joey when he thought when he was going to be able to do comedy again. And Joey gave some date, whatever, September. And Joe was like, I've really resigned myself that it's going to be a year before we
For sure.
do anything again. And I'm okay with that, but that's just how it's going to be.
What did Joey say? What is it, 6 feet, dog? Let's make it 10.
Let's make it 10. Dude, his whole thing was so funny. He's like, this is how it's got to be. I come to the club. I come to the airport. A guy comes and picks me up. He's wearing his mask. I'm wearing my mask. We get in the cab. The only other person who picks me up is this guy. He can't pick anybody up in between. He has to just sit there and wait for me. I go inside. Nobody comes and sees me. Somebody wants to check on me. They don't come. 10 feet. Like he was.
What was he also saying?
Crazy,
He's like,
man.
I'm up here performing. They're down there.
And the shows can only be an hour. I can't be in that air any longer.
I mean, in the summer, listen, I think they should just be doing them outdoors. I think Bert that's not a bad idea, too.
They're driving?
Listen, if it's working and 700 people showed up, and Bert's an attention whore, 700 people honking their horns in like a positive manner.
It's what it's got to be right now. I know a lot of comics are suffering.
It's just weird that he's out of the car. It's so weird.
He is an attention whore.
He is an attention whore. But you know what? I like
We
Bert.
love the Bert.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
I miss Bert.
When that guy took off his shirt at the karaoke, you said, we got a Bert Kreischer over here.
Fuck, I totally should have. Would have gone over everyone's head.
So they're saying COVID may be tied to some brain disease now where you see lions and monkeys in your house.
Bring it on.
He's moving to Ghana. Joe loved that. I think Joe really wishes that he had no kids and a wife and he could just go wherever the fuck he wanted.
He wants to go someplace foreign.
Well,
Isn't that
I don't think he does at all, but I think when you see other people do it, you wish you could.
Let me just say, though, that's how bad things are in the States right now, that someone is literally willing to be like, you know what? I'm going to go to Ghana in October because shit here is just...
Maybe Ghana's really nice, man.
I think your money
Is it
goes far,
not?
too.
Is there like a civil war there or something?
I believe it's a very, very poor country.
Because there's going to be a civil war here, so...
Yeah, true.
Did you see the traffic jam they showed?
Where?
In, I think it was Lagos, Nigeria.
Oh, but that's a huge city.
But it's just, that's the way it is. There's one road, and that's just the way it is. Like, they've squandered all their money for infrastructure.
It's crazy when you see those, like, Middle Eastern countries where there's just no traffic infrastructure, and it's just, like, 8 lanes, and everyone kind of go, like, no lights, just kind of, like, honking your way through a fucking intersection.
And
that shit is...
sort of works.
Has a political candidate ever not named a running mate until after he or she was elected? Well, I guess it would be he.
The nomination, you mean?
You can't. I don't think...
You have to have a running mate before you're elected president.
The people have to know who they're voting for vice president as well.
I was thinking about that today, and I saw McCain declared Sarah Palin his vice president.
Did you say Sarah Palin?
Sarah Palin.
There you go. He got it.
August 29th.
Oh, you're talking about a long time ago.
Wow, that late?
Another case, yeah.
August 29th.
Yeah.
So he has a little while yet to still name Hillary.
I don't hear anyone.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, how much do you want to bet? I don't think
that's
he's...
possible.
Oh my God. Okay, let's put some money on it.
All right, I'll bet you $50.
Okay, perfect. Well, wait, hold on one second. Do you have to put money on who you think it's going to be?
No.
Or it just doesn't have to be Hillary?
I just said $50. It's not Hillary.
There has to be one caveat to this bet.
Listen, I'll let you go this time. You said off the jump, done,
But
which
just-
normally means
yes, but just
booked,
listen
but
to
okay.
the caveat of the bet.
Sure. What you want is odds.
No. Whoever, I don't want odds. Whoever he names as his running mate,
Yeah.
they have to at least last the month. Like he can't name somebody and then a month into office put Hillary in, and you're like, well, semantically he didn't have Hillary as his running mate.
Change your vice president.
I think you can. I think the president has the right to do a lot
But
of
the bet
stuff.
is,
I don't know anything.
you bet Hillary is going to be involved in the Democratic run for presidents.
Well, I think she will be involved somehow, no matter what. But I think she's going to be his running mate. He already said it's going to be a woman, and everybody's like, "Oh, great, a woman!" And then he put a couple of candidates out there who like are never going to be his running mate, and then he's going to swoop in right at the end and be like, "Listen, I need a woman in there. There's no doubt about that because I'm progressive." But Hillary just has all the qualifications. She knows how to deal with foreign affairs, blah, 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 all the horse shit. And people are just going to accept it, man.
And you're betting $50 that's not going to happen.
That's correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure we have the stakes. One interesting thing I saw about Joe Biden today is that this sounds weird, but he's only worth $9 million.
That cannot be right.
He should be worth a lot more, right? If he's
Oh,
been
I
there
would.
forever.
Well, he's been the VP. How much does the VP make every year?
They make like $150,000 a year.
What? No.
Can you back me up here?
I'm going to check. Hold on.
If he's only worth $9 million, he seems like an all right politician.
I just don't buy that he's worth $9 million.
The money's hidden in Ukraine.
Salary. Well, let's find that out first. So the VP salary.
Fun fact, they talked about Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
And Johnny Cash, you know the song Country Roads?
Yeah. Yeah.
West Virginia, Mount
Yeah.
Mama. That was the people who wrote it were going to sell it to Johnny Cash. And then John Denver heard it and said, I have to have that song.
Interesting.
So it could have been a different.
That's why when you were
universe.
singing that, I was like, I don't think that's a Johnny Cash song.
It's not a Johnny Cash song, but the couple that
West
wrote it.
Virginia.
Mount Mama, take me home, country roads.
$230,000.
Yeah.
US.
Yeah. Now let's find out how much Joe Biden is worth.
That means it would take him 40 years to make $9 million. 40 years as vice president.
That's a lot of terms.
But what I'm saying is Nancy Pelosi's worth $100 million.
I mean, that's just crazy.
And Obama's worth $40 million.
And look at what what's his name there? Larry David worth.
$1 billion?
No,
No,
Bernie.
100
Larry David is definitely worth $1 billion.
I think
what's Bernie
Bernie's worth
worth?
like $5 million.
No, Bernie's worth like $45 million.
Bernie Sanders?
Yeah.
And Trump's worth $2.1 billion. Allegedly.
I'll find out what Bernie's worth for you, unless just Simon's on it.
No, I'm still looking for. Yeah, he's right. $9 million. That cannot be right.
But it makes you think like he's an all right guy. He's not good at scamming.
It's probably because he's
not
not
good at
even
scamming.
alive.
Dead people can't
He's just
have a value.
a puppet, like fucking Weekend at Bernie's.
Well, he's leading in all the polls.
Whatever that means, Kamar. But they made a really good point, or Hannibal made a really good point. You cannot have Biden be president, and the reason is simple. He has been vice president for too long. He is a jealous old white guy at this point, you know what I mean, who just wants to be president so fucking bad because he's been the bitch, you know? He's been the bitch. And it's like this. He has big dick envy right now. You know what I'm saying? The president's got the big dick and he wants it. And the second he gets into office, he's just going to take his dick and fuck everything.
Metaphorically.
Both.
Whoa. Well, that'll get him
But
out-
mostly
out of office
metaphorically.
fast.
No,
That'll get him out of office fast.
but I don't think that's such a crazy idea. VP is like an impotent position, you know. Sorry, come on.
No, I agree with you there, but I was just thinking in my head, you'd think these people would just want to enjoy the last of their years, not dealing with these issues, but he's got to be a complete 100% puppet. Like Pac-Man said, or whoever, the cabinet will be doing all the heavy lifting.
Or, right, exactly. And maybe it's a situation like, and I'm sure you'll think I'm crazy, but what if they're sitting on some sort of like life extension and they say, you know, do this, do what we want, and we'll fucking give you another 30 years. Is that impossible?
Nothing's impossible in this world, Simon.
Matt, I want to
Listen,
hear it out of
nothing's-
your mouth.
What do
man.
you want to hear? Listen, I'm with Kamar. Nothing's impossible. It's a simulation.
No, but is that crazy? Is that just
So you want me to
ludicrous?
tell you it's crazy?
It's pushing. It's
Hold on, it's very
pushing
rare.
crazy.
You want me to tell you this is crazy? Is
No,
that it?
I don't want you to do
Okay.
anything. It
Felt like you were like, please, Matt, tell me this is nuts. Like I need to hear that this is crazy.
No, I know it's probably not very likely. It's much more likely that the guy is just fucking, like Kamar said, just a fucking puppet.
But that's what they're supposed to be.
No, I totally disagree.
Oh, well, I don't want to get into it because it's just going to get ugly.
That's what they're supposed to be. Honestly, that you sounded like the Bears are who we thought they were. It sounded almost like a coach rant or like a practice.
I'm not so naive that I don't think these guys have people who are telling them what to do. But Biden is way more like as a literal puppet, you know, like the guy can't. Where is he?
He's in a bunker.
He's in hiding, yeah.
He's in a box in the basement waiting to be taken out and used in the puppet show.
So mean to old people.
It's not about old, man.
It is.
Okay, you know what?
Somewhat
Again,
ageist.
I agree with Hannibal in this case. The president shouldn't be 70-something years old.
Bernie's 2 years younger than him.
Bernie shouldn't be president either. None of them should be. It should be a young man's position. Not a young man's position, a middle-aged man position. Kamar could be president.
Vote for me. I'll set you free.
Let me assure you, you do not want Kamar as a president. No disrespect.
What position do I get in your office before I back you? I want something where I don't have to do any work,
FEMA.
but a lot of credit.
FEMA.
Head of education.
No. Oh my God, he's giving you a bum rap here.
Why?
They have like the worst.
sorry,
Is
go
this
ahead.
the states?
No, I'm going to make you a drug czar.
Drugs are. I like that.
So that means you're going to legalize everything.
Right away.
Okay.
Then my job's easy.
Then
Done.
Done. He washes his hands of it.
Vote for Kamar Babar 2024.
I am much like Kanye. I have not done the paperwork yet, but believe me. He's not going to be president.
What's your
either.
party going to be called? Can't be the birthday party.
The pooper party.
The pooper party.
Oh,
Party
it's the
pooper.
The Barbarian
The
party.
party pooper. I like that.
Yeah, the barbarian libertarian.
No, you're not
No,
libertarian.
Sumerian.
you'll be the keg
Sumerian.
party. How about that?
Whatever gets me to the office, so get you guys cushy jobs.
Well, yeah. If we call it the keg party, you
And
might
I
have
would-
to
breathing
start
through my
I
doing
would
mouth.
not mind if lobbyists reach out right now.
You don't agree with this?
Try to get
No,
a
I was
piece of
breathing through my
action.
mouth there. I noticed so now I'm.
Super conscious. We're getting there.
I noticed how long I just hold my breath for. Like
Painting?
for minutes
Drawing
on
stuff?
end. And I don't even need the breath. I'm telling you.
Okay, well, it feels like we're getting there. But do you guys watch the marble races that he was talking
Oh,
about?
fucking.
First
We've
of all,
been
Simon and I have
watching-
been on this since 2016.
Doesn't
since-
that enrage you when that happens,
Yeah.
Matt? When you're so early on something that by the time you get around, it's like cliche.
Let me actually say, I'll double down on what Simon's saying. When we first saw these, Simon and I said to each other, we can do this and better. Like, I remember both of us like, okay, what do we need to... Raimi still talks about it to this day. I'm not joking. Because he's like, I have a drone. I think the drone would help us do the marble races. Kamar, this is something we've been on for a long time.
Well, you're way behind now.
I know.
Did you see the one, though, where, like, the Lime team's fans threw debris on the track and it started a riot in the stands?
In all fairness, I haven't
There's a big
watched
fight?
it.
Wait, there's actual people at the marble races now?
No, there's marbles.
Okay.
There are marbles, but the marbles started fighting.
Okay, yeah.
And, they're coming, oh, my God, it's getting out of control. This
So
is,
it's a
this is
it's a
untoward.
graphic of the marbles.
No, I think they, what is it when you take a
Time
picture?
Time
lapse.
lapse.
That's what I meant. Whatever. It's
Stop motion. I think it's stop motion.
animation. Yeah.
Gotcha.
South Park.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that playing marbles. Listen, I like any competition, really. So what I'm saying is, like, look, we could be at the cottage and we could get a bucket and a nail and start throwing a nail into a bucket. And as long as we're competing against each other,
I know.
it really doesn't matter what we're
What's
doing.
nice about the marbles is no politics. There's no marbles taking knees. There's no COVID. It's so like just watch and don't care about anything.
I like that you can bet on it.
Well, where's the fix?
I didn't know he's such a degenerate.
Who?
Yeah.
Hannibal Buress.
yeah.
Well, he was. I guess he's recovered. I find he's very honest and
Yeah, I
forthcoming.
liked them.
No, I agree. I just didn't find him that funny. That's all
Did
it
you
is.
guys ever watch what was it called? Wide World of Sports or Wild World of Sports?
Wide World of Sports, yeah.
on ABC.
Yeah.
The thrill of
No, okay,
victory,
that's-
the agony, and defeat.
That wasn't
ABC
the one.
Wild
then.
World of Sports.
Wide World of Sports.
What was that show? Did they show all different
All
games?
sports, yeah.
Like it might be fencing.
Highlight.
Whatever's happening.
Yeah, all sorts of different shit. Yeah, that was fun.
And a boat breaks up in the beginning. A hydrofoil boat.
Right, exactly. Yes. Yes. It was on Sunday mornings for us.
It was.
Yeah.
I watched it.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Ghislaine Maxwell. I like how Joe says her name, first of all.
Ghislaine.
I don't know. He says it weird.
What I've heard is the biggest
Ghislaine.
issues is what's going to come out of her may be most detrimental to Trump rather than anyone else.
I mean, maybe. I'll go back to this.
Simon, your microphone. You have the headphones off, so you don't.
Yes,
There you go.
I'm sorry.
Good,
I'm
it's
sorry.
fine,
I'll
it's
put them
fine.
on in a second.
Don't worry about it. Keep them off. Just keep the mic in front of you. It is warm in here.
Ghislaine, if Trump,
How does Joe say it?
I don't remember. I'll have to go back and listen to it.
It's fine.
If, as far as I understand it, Trump had some part in bringing the case, the original case, to light. Okay, so let's just play off of that assumption for a second, okay? That he had some part in that. Then it would be insane for him to do that if he knew he was implicated. Like, that's nuts. If
Donald Trump would do something crazy and stupid.
that's not crazy and stupid. That is
He'd just be shooting himself in the foot.
in the face, in the head, in the fight. Like, you're done. Done deal. You go down in history as
It would seem like someone that didn't want to be president in the first place.
all
Almost.
he cares about, though, is his fucking reputation. You know what I mean? Like, he just wants to go down as
Hero.
a hero. He doesn't want to look like a douchebag. Like, that's what I think, anyways. But so if that's the case, then no, I don't believe that at all. I think that's what the left media is trying to have you believe, because that's the narrative they want to run right now. Because even if it's not true, it's swaying votes, you know? That's why and that's why I think that if Ghislaine, whatever the fuck her name is going to spill, it's going to have to be soon. It has to be before the election. That's 100%, because if this is correct and Trump brought this to light in some way, he did it because for a purpose, and that was to win.
Hold on. I just got one question for him. You think long con he did this to get reelected?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. As opposed to like doing it out of the goodness of his heart to stop pedophiles. I mean, maybe that's the case.
But this case started so long ago that the timing would be.
There's just so many layers.
So
That's all I'm saying, Simon.
Not to win an election, but to gain credit. Like, he's
Sure,
the
okay,
president.
fine,
It's
fine,
all
fine.
about getting the next term. So inadvertently, you understand where I'm
I
coming
get where you're
from.
going. Yeah.
But you know, the weirdest thing is Barr, the attorney general.
Yes.
His dad hired Epstein.
Yes.
So that's weird.
It's a conflict of interest.
There's a conflict of interest there.
Of course.
But Ghislaine hired a lawyer who was former prosecutor, which leads some legal experts to say that's to lay out a plea deal. Rather, she didn't get a high profile defense
She didn't get a
lawyer.
defense lawyer.
They'll
She
get
got
out-
someone that knows
she
how to
got
play
someone-
ball with. Yeah,
the
I
system,
get you.
exactly.
That's interesting. I believe that. I believe that for
There's
sure.
so many things that
So we're never going to see anything? We're like, what does that mean?
That could be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's all coming undone, but Biden is not connected to it. But I've heard some people say it looks like Trump may get in trouble from this. But like you said, it doesn't make sense if he initiated this bust.
If that's not the case, then yeah, for sure, he could totally be implicated. Like, we know that there are pictures of him and Ghislaine.
You guys also act
know
like
there are
this guy
pictures of him
doesn't
and
think he's
Epstein.
invincible.
I agree, Matt. I agree, invincible. I think invincibility stops at fucking kids. I don't think anyone is...
But maybe that's it. Maybe he stopped at just that. Like, maybe he's at all the parties. Maybe he's complicit in that he sees it all going on. He knows, but he doesn't do it. And Trump's the kind of guy, believe me, who would stay at that party to be like, oh, I've got some dirt myself.
That's not unconceivable. When it first happened, I thought she's going to get busted and the Clintons are going to come down, or whoever, these people are going to come down. But I've heard rumblings that it's actually could be detrimental to Trump.
Inconceivable.
You've said that 3 times now. Where are you getting that info?
Said what?
That he thinks it could be harmful. He keeps hearing. So where do you
The one
keep
discussion I
hearing?
heard was Mark Garagos.
Okay.
He got off OJ. He's a famous lawyer.
Yeah, but where, like, so he just knows.
He was the one who broke down who the attorneys she's hired and just what it looks like as an attorney. This is what it looks like. But I do not see where there's information about the Clintons or whatever.
No, but I'm saying where is he getting his information? He
The
didn't
newspaper,
tell you?
The newspaper. I was overhearing a discussion on a podcast like you do. He wasn't talking to me.
No, I realized that. I was just wondering if he had quoted a source, if he had...
It wasn't a specific source. He was just saying, as an attorney, with these, what's going on in play here, this is what it looks like, and it could be bad for Trump. But he wasn't saying it from any point of a opinion, whether he was anti-Trump or like Trump's going down for this. He was just saying, this is what I think it looks like.
Mm-hmm. Like, I agree. If you watch CNN, then for sure that's what you're going to think.
Well, no, I also saw Roger Stone say he doesn't think the Clintons are going to come down, and he hates the Clintons.
I heard Roger Stone today. He's going to go to jail, eh?
No, he got commuted.
Oh, he did?
The sentence got commuted.
Well, he should. That was ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
That was ridiculous.
But if you don't know any facts and you're like, fuck that Roger Stone, he's a
Of
Trump
course,
guy.
of course. Like, I'm not... But when you look into that, it didn't make any sense. He was getting railroaded. It was crazy.
But now the left is just Trump commuted this guy
Right.
scandal. What I want to ask you guys, do you guys think the Russiagate thing will go down for people like nothing? It was a nothing burger, right?
It was a huge burger.
First of all, I think the U.S. is currently at war with Russia. I don't think any of the U.S. citizens are aware of it. I think they're losing.
It was a mega burger.
What I'm saying is they accused Trump of colluding with Russia to win the election.
Yeah.
Maybe he did that, but they couldn't prove it.
That's the mega burger.
But do you think that's going to go down like a JFK thing for people?
Most people don't even know.
Well, people who do know,
Well, how? No one got assassinated. It won't go down. Well, how do you mean it'll go down like a
they'll
JFK
think
thing?
he got away with this. Like there's more facts out there of how Trump actually did work with Russia, and there'll just always be their conspiracy theory.
Oh, no, I was saying, like, it's crazy that they could run a narrative that wasn't true to try and win. Like, that's what they did for 4 years. You know what I mean?
But I'm asking you, do you think there's people who will just cling to that after everything that's come out now? A sane person go, I guess that was just...
It's kind of like when you watch, and you'll see when you watch that Outcry documentary I told you to watch. But like, you know, when you watch Making a Murderer, and there's that one detective who, even after all this time, is still convinced, or whatever, not Making a Murderer, but one of those, and is just still convinced, even after they've been proven 6 ways from Sunday in court, that it can't be that way.
That old woman with the Central Park Five.
That's exactly
The
who I was
prosecutor.
thinking. Exactly. She ended up committing suicide, didn't she?
No, she's still prosecuting in New York. She still thinks they're guilty.
Oh my God. Well,
I guess that,
Like
that's
she's still,
the answer.
even though
She should think about
even
what
though
I
there's a
said.
guy in prison that admitted to the crime, she's like, I don't.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I guess that's how I
That's
look
the
at
answer.
that. Yeah.
There will be people die on their
There will
deathbed.
be,
He
yeah.
did it.
No matter what. Some people think the Holocaust didn't exist. You can show them pictures. You can show them people in the flesh with tattoos on their arm, and they just don't believe it, you know?
I think it's a little bit different, though. I think when you've accused someone of something that heinous, it's very difficult for you to sit there and then say, I was wrong. Like, that's a really tough thing. You kind of have to go to your deathbed saying, no, I think they did it. Because after that, how do you just go on? You know what I mean? Like, how do people, especially as a prosecutor, but I guess you have to.
Well, we're in this crazy world now where the accusation is everything. Like, as it's come down, it doesn't look like Crystalia is that bad.
No, but once it's out there,
Exactly.
like you said,
The
yeah.
accusation is
Well,
everything.
I mean, they said it, right? It's so easy to tear somebody down, but to run the apology, it's on page 27, 4 days later.
Blind eyes and deaf
3
ears.
weeks later. Like, I'm telling you, Crystalia can be proved innocent right now beyond a shadow of a doubt.
The damage
And
is
my
done.
wife, who will never hear about it, thinks he's guilty because that's what the article said 2 weeks ago, you know?
It's the quick news cycle.
Well, that's where lawmakers need to step in. It's like I was telling you about that Karen law they want to put in place.
It was a little different than what you told me, that Karen law, though. It's
so you looked into it? Well, it's pretty much what I
well,
said.
I heard that on the radio today on the way over here, actually. It was pretty much, but it had to do, it was a racially motivated
Fine, if you call
crime,
fine, but it's still the same.
Well, it is and it isn't, you know what I mean? Like,
Fine, it's specifically directed at race, but I mean,
right. Yeah.
yes, it's if you're, I'm running through the park and there's a black man
It's
in the park,
based
and
on that bird watcher
Yeah.
video there, where she said the guy was attacking her
yeah, and he's watching
with his
birds.
binoculars.
Yeah.
And it was because he was trying to get her dog away from her because the dog wasn't supposed to be in the park, which is so weird because they were both being Karens. You know what I mean? The one guy was being a Karen, you can't have your dog in the park. And she was being an even bigger Karen because she was, you know.
Two Karens
whatever.
don't make
He's
a-
raping me.
Two Karens don't make a Kathy.
Kathy sucked.
Yeah, Kathy sucked too. What's a good one? What's a good name for a girl?
Don't know.
Well, give me one. Melissa, you like that? No.
Cinnamon.
No, that's too much.
Nancy.
Nancy?
Mercy. Nancy.
No, I don't know
Nancy
a lot
Grace.
of great Nancys.
Those people are trapped in that building.
No. What about Katie? You know a lot of cool Katies?
I know one super cool Katie.
I know a cool Katie. I know two cool Katies. So
And
let's go with Katie's. Two
think we
Kathys
introduced you
don't
to
make
one.
a Katie.
Two Kathys don't make a Katie. I like it. What
I
else
like
you got
it.
for Hannibal
I like it
there,
too.
Simon?
Well, I got just a little more on Ghislaine Maxwell, I think, because they were talking about the painting that he has of Clinton that they always talk about that Epstein had in his foyer of him in a dress. And then we also, those pictures of what's his name has in his house,
Podesta.
which I swear to God are the creepiest fucking paintings I have ever seen.
And there should be an explanation for everything.
If that's true, if that is good data, you know what I mean? Those pictures in his house, he should 1000% have to explain them. And it better be a pretty damn good explanation.
I think they're from that spirit cooker.
He's on the list, right? For sure.
For sure.
On Ghislaine's list, 100%.
Somebody knows somebody.
No, that was more a question.
I don't have access to the list.
I know you don't. I'm asking for your opinion.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you heard that he's on the list?
No.
No, that's just your opinion. Okay. Very good. Very good. He tried to freestyle for a little while. That was interesting. You know, and that was my problem with this podcast per se.
Percy?
Well, he was great. I liked his opinions on stuff, but then he kept on the harmonica and the
couldn't stand that.
singing. And
I
Couldn't
think
stand
he's just a creative person putting
you give
himself
him a
out there.
pass on that. I'm so surprised, Kamar. I thought you would be all over him for that.
Only because, like I said, he's his own island. He doesn't run with a gang.
So you just think it's all him. It's not like he's trying to impress
He
anybody.
can't do stand up. He's just like, I'm trying music now. I'm trying
Well,
this.
you know what? From that
He's fearless.
Point, yeah, no. From that point of view, I like it more. He's not like you're saying. He's not Hollywood.
Well, he is Hollywood, though, but it doesn't seem like it. Like, he's got all the movies. Like, he's had a great path.
Do you think he likes going to the big parties every night, or he likes just hanging out at home playing his harmonica?
I think he preferred to play video games or something. Yeah, I don't think he's a social
Well,
butterfly.
then I'm gonna retract my view from before.
But you talked about how he got drunk and got arrested. Like, he's very honest. And
Well, and he had the party and then had the bad trip because he thought he had fucked up. That's interesting.
It's really funny how bookies work in that, like, you just call someone, as long as you have good credit and like good standing, you just call someone without giving them money. And then like a week later, you could have someone just drop off $100,000 cash.
because you don't have to put the money out.
That was a weird fucking story,
It was
right?
a super cool story.
And he's like, I was going to give him the money, but he wasn't getting the cash back. That was just unacceptable to me. And he was like, if you come into Brooklyn,
Yeah, people are going to put hands on you.
people are going to put hands on you. This was a fucking bookie.
He was going crazy. I think that was like the Dan
He said it,
Bilzerian
though,
thing
yeah.
where he said, I don't like losing money to a broke guy, but I'll lose money to a guy with money.
No, I really think because he kept saying, he was like, I sent him the money. I'm like, dude, he sent him $90,000 on PayPal.
Yeah.
That's,
It wasn't
so
not giving him the money.
It was the physical,
cash. Yeah.
hard cash. And listen, I get it. I'm like 3 summers ago, I had like a 3-4 week stretch at the casino. I remember I went with you one night and you were sitting down at poker and I came back and I was like, how you doing, Simon? You're like, I'm okay. And I was like, oh, I just won like $2,200 at roulette. And you were like, motherfucker. I won probably $7,000 in like a week and a half. And I had it all in cash in my back pocket. And I can't tell you how often I pulled it out and counted it like a fucking mope. Lost
so
all
easy
of it.
sometimes.
But that's, I understand that mentality of like, I could have the money, I'll PayPal it to you.
Well, I mean, I understand it if it's like I owe you $100 and I don't want to give you the cash and you're going to accept the PayPal. I don't understand it if it's a guy who's going to send some dude over to fucking break my legs. And as much as I want to say, like, I got dudes to put hands on you, does Hannibal have guys to put hands on him, you know, besides his hired security?
Either way, ballsy as fuck. But like you said, he was
But maybe
drinking.
he does. Maybe he's like
Listen,
fucking mobbed up.
You don't know what it's like to be a fucking drunk. You'll say some wild shit and then wake up the next day like, what did I say? Oh,
Especially if $100,000 on a table. You think you're king of the world.
that's, yeah, totally.
He was talking about upgrading his character in
NBA
basketball,
Live, baby. Or 2K, sorry.
paying somebody to do it. I was just like, wow, I didn't even know that was a thing. But of course, that's a thing. I mean, because I know
You
that
played
you can,
FIFA.
Well, I know you can buy, like, if you're playing like World of Warcraft, you can buy a pre-made character from somebody who has like, I don't even know how that game works, but I imagine you need experience points.
I would
and
imagine that's how it
whatever.
works, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What else I got for this guy? I think I want to try that basketball video game though. I really like basketball.
What, NBA 2K?
Yeah.
That's what you want to try?
Well, I don't know. Some sort of basketball game for the
Well, PlayStation 5's coming out.
PlayStation. I mean, do I care? Do I want the PlayStation 5? I'm not going to. I mean, my
Look me in the
son's
eyes
gonna-
for a second.
My son's
Look-
going to
just
buy
look at
it.
me.
Yeah.
You're a 40-year-old adult.
43.
Yeah. So you have $500 to buy the latest thing. Even if you only use it a couple times a year with your friends, just fucking pony up.
I mean, I cannot tell you the last time I used the PlayStation. It must be 2
The 5's
years.
coming out. PlayStation 5's coming out.
He drops his book. He's going to walk off again. He's going to walk off again, folks.
He's doing it on purpose. You're doing it on purpose.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's funny.
What-
I like it. I
what-
appreciate it.
What game show would you want to host?
You mean if I had a choice of all the game shows that currently exist?
Interesting. Jeopardy.
Spots opening.
Oh, that is wow. Too soon, Kamar.
I think it'd be Price is Right.
Yeah, The Price is Right is mad fun.
Or
Too
Deal or
early.
No Deal if they brought it
Think
back.
about how smart you'd be if you hosted Jeopardy.
Or how smart you'd look since you have all the answers on the card.
No. I don't mean like that. I mean, you would just gain so much knowledge. You're constantly asking questions.
Yeah,
and
I guess
listening
that's
to
true. No,
answers.
you're asking answers and being given questions.
Touche, Matthew.
Well, if you really know, I
Touche.
don't think you're even qualified to host
That's
Jeopardy at this point.
hilarious.
I guess I would. No, you know what? The dating game.
Go fuck yourself for 300, Matthew.
Up the butt.
What
ball.
is?
Go fuck yourself. Yeah, the dating game for me. That's gotta
Oh,
be
the
it.
dating game is great. That's a great answer.
With Bob Euchre.
Is that what you said?
No, he said
No,
the
I said
price
The Price
is right.
would be my choice.
Price is Right is so confusing, no? Like you have so many things you got to like take care of.
Yeah, but I think
No,
you're hooking up with
no,
all the
you have all the
showcase
assistants.
girls.
They take care of everything.
No.
You just walk around with a
Yeah,
super little
it's
mic.
true, but
you
it's
just
a
go from
lot
here to
of
here.
different games, you know? It's just a lot
Once
of
you play them all
I guess it
10
keeps
times,
it interesting.
you
Maybe
know
you're right.
Yeah.
Plinko and shit.
What about Bumper Stumpers? That's a great game.
Which one's is that? The one where you read the
The bumpers, the
That is the
license,
license
plates.
plate? Yeah,
Ghetto is fucking game
Yes,
show
but it's
ever.
amazing. It's an amazing ghetto game show.
that shit is so
I don't
90s.
host ghetto game shows.
Kid
Oh,
Street.
Family Feud.
Yeah,
Survey
well, one of them
says-
said Family Feud. That's
Family
what
Feud
Joe
is
said
great.
was.
It's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
You would laugh your ass off.
But
all
in
the
this,
time.
Joe said about how he hated Fear Factor, but he said if he had to do it over again, he'd do it again.
Yeah, because
course.
the paycheck is
Gave him
right.
stability.
Undeniable.
The best was that dude on Family Feud, the old dude that used to just fucking grope all the women.
Richard Dawson.
Yeah, Richard Dawson just used
The
to
man.
fucking just grabbing tits.
Richard Dawson, who was, remember he was in that Schwarzenegger movie,
Which one?
Running Man?
Oh, yeah.
He played the.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Do you remember
right.
Running Man?
Yeah, the movie.
This has nothing to do with anything, but that's
It's
the movie game.
It's a Stephen King book, I believe.
I believe it started as a Stephen King book, but I listen to all the episodes. It's really hard pressed for a movie, but that just worked all together. Hannibal Buress. Joe suggested Hannibal Buress would do Family Feud. Bringed up Richard Dawson. Richard Dawson was the game show host in Running Man, a movie about a future world where
Dude, look at me wasting
Wow,
paper.
you had to
What
come a
was
long
I up
way
to
for that
here?
one, eh, buddy?
Holy fuck. I was writing one.
it's the movie game.
I was writing one movie a page like a lazy fuck. Running Man is what we're doing?
I had to go just as far to get to this movie.
Okay, just hold on. So we need a year, right?
So in the future, there's a game show where people, there's a contestant who's hunted down by these gladiators almost.
I got the year. I'm ready. I think I actually got the year too.
Obviously, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, as I said before, directed by Paul Michael Glazer. That sounds familiar. Starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Maria Cachita Alonso, Yapet Kotto, and Richard Dawson.
Okay, hold on a second.
I'm causing more Family Feud than Mr. Dawson, and the survey said you did. Really, Simon? You're
got
writing
it.
a fucking year.
No, I got it.
I have 1984.
I have 1989.
So close, yet so far away. 1987.
I was way off.
Okay.
I think we're going to learn something interesting, too, about movies that we don't know when we're kids. When they come out, we think some movies.
Are you dropping hints? Is he dropping hints?
I was about to jump in
don't
and
know
just had
what
to
it-
stop
I don't know what he's
mid-sentence and
doing.
not make any sense. And I bet you this movie does not hold up well.
Oh, I bet if you watched it now, it would be absolute fucking trash.
Garbage.
Probably terrible.
Hot garbage. I just remember in a scene where he has to sign the contract, and he signs the contract on the guy's back and then stabs him with the pen. It's a pretty badass move by Arnie. HBO Pictures, TriStar Pictures. They used to make a lot of movies. Don't hear them anymore.
I'm fucked.
I don't know.
I'll go first, Simon, because I don't have a hope in hell here.
Okay.
I said 15.7 to make it. I said it made 22.8.
Wow. I said it
He
cost
looks at Kamar.
27 million to make, and it made 77 million.
I want it so bad. Budget $27 million.
Oh my god!
What did you say?
27 million.
Wow.
Box office $38.1 million.
Oh.
So I was really close there.
77. Do I make it? No.
In the neighborhood, $50 million. You're there.
I'm there. I win.
We have a winner. And this situation
whatever,
is exactly where that guest who wrote
Come
it
on,
wanna
man.
change
This is the
everything.
first time I've won in probably
Yeah. So don't Heil Hitler.
20 weeks.
I'm proud of you, Simon.
I'm
Nice
so
work,
proud of
Simon.
myself.
Nice work.
Wow.
What a shit.
And it was
pick, Kamar.
close
Stuck
on
the
the
landing.
year too.
I knew.
Spot on
Hey,
the budget.
I knew that shit didn't make any money.
Well, no, but I was thinking, that's what I was about to say. Is like, as a kid, I think this must be the biggest movie ever.
I knew it.
I thought any Arnold Schwarzenegger
no,
movie
no.
would have to make like 50 plus million.
Not if it's horse shit. And that's the movie game.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, that movie fucking.
All right, good movie game. Good movie game. Thanks, Kamari.
My work here is done.
Made my night. Let's see what else we got. I think we're almost done with this guy.
Simon, let me just tell you something. If you were going to buy an NBA game, would your intention be to play people online?
Probably. But here, can I tell you what my intention would be?
Sure.
I will never spend a penny.
Oh, then don't bother.
So I want to build my character, my team from scratch.
Nope, don't bother.
And I don't
then.
care if I never move up, as long as I play people who are better than me, so I can keep getting better. You know what I mean? I don't really
Keep those competitive juices fed.
Exactly. And I would play FIFA again if under the same restrictions. I will not spend a penny. So if I could build a team that could compete for nothing,
You
I might
listen.
do it.
If
But I don't have to work at it. I don't want to work at it.
No, I was going to say, if you're willing to sit down and play 4 games a night, a couple times a week, 5 games a night, a couple times a week, then
I mean,
you can build a team.
I could do that, but I'm not doing any I'm putting, your silly
wanna
little
trade.
squad building whatevers.
Yeah, okay. Well, then don't play the game. I don't play it anymore anyway.
That's
So
what I mean. But basketball, that seems quicker. Like soccer's so long to play.
Did you guys know there's an actual stand-up show in Grand Theft Auto?
there's everything in Grand
Patrice.
Theft Auto, dude.
And Cat Williams. So they said I've never played the game. I did not know that.
I've never played that game either.
But maybe that's where stand-up's
Did
going
you
to
know
pop up
that,
now.
Matt? In video games?
They were saying in Grand Theft Auto you can go into a comedy club and watch Patrice O'Neill.
No,
or
I'm
Cat.
saying you think that's where comedy is going
Well, it's not
next?
going to
is into
clubs right
video
now.
games?
That'd be one avenue.
No, because you still need a live audience, so it doesn't help.
I mean, I guess we're
laugh
just
track.
spoiled right now because I don't know. I feel like a pure comedy club. We're about to open stage 3, right? On Monday. No, that's what I read today.
Hopefully, yeah.
So that's got to mean
Comedy clubs.
no, I don't know about that. It's got to mean restaurants at like 50% something. And it's got to mean like gyms and stuff. So I imagine if you can open a comedy club with 6 feet between people.
I'm not saying anything to that tomorrow happens and it comes out and rolls.
Yeah, I know. You're right. It's silly. Why hypotheticalize?
Hypothesize.
I just thought.
Just checking.
Throw
Make sure you're
that
not
out
having
there.
a stroke.
No, we're done. Done?
Excellent.
You
Yes,
guys
please.
done?
We're entering hour
Yeah.
3 of this
Yeah,
podcast.
I'm
We've been
so hot.
too long here, and we have a post show to do.
James Nestor was a short one, luckily, and it's short. I don't have a lot of notes for it.
We'll
I
take a
forgot
deep
about the
breath and we'll move
post-show.
on to that one soon.
Okay, let's do that. Let's all take a nice deep.
Through the nose.
Oh no, I'm a mouth breather.
Now, go to Spotify and download Wolfpack's Silent Album. All right. So let's rate Hannibal then, or is that where we're
Yeah,
at?
we forgot to do that.
No, we didn't forget. I'm here.
Just the one thing he talked to him about that time he was on with Sam Harris and he was super drunk and he got in a big fight with Sam
I
Harris.
totally forgot that.
And I thought that was on a Rogan episode.
It was.
I don't think it was.
No, you think Hannibal Buress was on Rogan?
Okay, hold on. Stop. Wait a second. It definitely was. This is what happened. Just hold on. And then you can say what you think happened. Joe and Hannibal were doing a podcast. They got drunk. Then Sam Harris came next to do a podcast with Joe. Hannibal stuck around the same way Darnell stuck around for
No.
Old Dirty.
No.
And
That's what you think happened.
they got in an argument. Yes, that's what I think happened.
No.
And what I think actually happened is Hannibal went on a podcast with Joe Rogan and got drunk. Then Joe Rogan did a podcast with Sam Harris. I think it's called The Drunken Peasant or something. And Hannibal Buress jumped in. So it was another podcast.
Why would Hannibal Buress be at that other podcast?
I think they might have done it in Joe's studio remote. But I was trying to find it because I thought that'd be an excellent throwback.
Well, no matter what, then, I'm sorry, no matter what. Yes, that could be possible, but it happened at Joe's studio.
I think so.
Well, it would have had to have. How
I
else would
don't
that
think
would
it
work
was
out?
on Joe Rogan because you can't find.
First of all, you'd have to find a back-to-back Sam Harris and Hannibal
and I
Buress
can't
episode.
find it.
So you're saying that doesn't exist?
Well, it
Then-
was Sam Harris with somebody else, right? And I thought Hannibal got in the argument with the other person.
No, it was.
even then,
it was
now
Sam
you're-
Harris about police profiling. We'll have to do more research, but
We'll do research later.
Second, they talked about. I looked at it.
I can guarantee you we will do no research.
No, because now I actually want to know because I want to know.
And I cannot find. This is just random. Oh, I give it a 4. I
I also give it a 4.
I cannot find any information about a riot the night Neil Young played the Great Woods Performing Arts in Massachusetts.
You're now back checking Joe's stories.
Hold on. I think when Joe says a riot, he means there was a bar fight.
Yeah, I think so. Like not newsworthy.
That's what I'm saying. Bar fights happen all the time. Dude, I worked at
Because
bars.
Neil Young did play the amphitheater in like 1987.
We're questioning whether Neil Young even played the amphitheater.
Let's also keep in mind,
Just making sure.
Kamar, Joe walked out of his job during a bar, which we now believe is a bar fight. That doesn't look too good. If you build it up to a riot.
I remember saying people were setting fires and it was getting out of
Yeah,
control.
well, again, like I said, when you've just walked out of your job as a security guard because things hit the fan.
No, he didn't do drugs. It was just people smoking bongs. In the parking
Whatever,
lot.
fuck. I give it a 3.5. Simon's breathing. What do you gave it a 4 as well, Simon? Okay, well, let's move on.
1506 James Nestor.
I bought his book
Breathing
today.
Guy. Really?
Yeah.
I
think
almost
it's
said
gonna help
Dr.
you.
James Nestor.
Well, I figure it can't hurt me, right, Simon? That's how I looked at it.
I don't know. Maybe it can. Was this guy a doctor?
He was not. He was a journalist.
He was a collector of information.
But
But maybe
this,
those are the people we need right now.
this seemed like the easiest do-it-yourself, make yourself better thing you can do.
Yeah.
You have to wake up too early. You have to run 100 miles.
Just breathe through your fucking
Just
nose.
breathe through your nose. And I'm concerned why that hasn't been. I feel like I was told that in school and stuff, but it's not like.
I remember, because I've always had terrible endurance, because obviously you can hear me breathe. I remember a buddy who could always run long distances and super fast. And I remember him in like grade 7 being like, you don't breathe through your nose ever. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, when you run, breathe through your nose. And I remember then trying it and being like, oh, yeah, I can't breathe. So it's not really working.
I'm a mouth breather extraordinaire. Regretfully.
Listen, this is insane. So my teeth have mashed together from when I had my wisdom teeth too long. So my 2 bottom teeth here became like, one of them got pushed in like this way, and it has a super sharp edge to it. I mean, like almost razor sharp, to the point where I've now had my dentist file it down, thankfully, because it was nuts. I used to fall asleep, and I guess I always breathe through my mouth. My tongue would press up against the tooth, and I would wake up with like a slit in my tongue and my mouth so dry.
You're like a defective body.
Yeah, I really am. Yeah, for sure. Dude, there's nothing.
As I mentioned before, I'm a no breather.
You just don't breathe.
I go massive periods of time without breathing.
Well, I mean, hearing this guy talk about sleep apnea too, like Bender died of sleep apnea. So it's great. You know, it's nuts to think like all this just from the fucking food we eat and the fact that we're not chewing 6 hours a day.
I mean,
And it's not just a thing. Breathe through your nose.
But this guy is also trying to give himself a John Travolta job. Like, don't skip over that part. You know what I mean? He's putting a machine into his mouth to make his jaw grow, which is cool. Like, I guess
5 pennies. That was,
5 pennies. Do you know how much that is?
but even then, that was the weirdest reference because I was like,
Well, he was trying to just show you, like, you know, but that's a lot to grow.
but is it
each
stacked
year.
up like this or is it? That's
Yeah.
what I'm asking.
Stacked
Yeah,
pennies.
I think it's stacked, not side
Weird.
by
Well,
edge.
as opposed to like touching each other running that way.
Well, I just couldn't, because I was like, that's a
They have
lot
the
of
straight
bone
sides,
density
do that
to
up.
gain in your fucking jaw. That's
Yeah.
all I felt.
I mean, he could have just said like an inch.
Listen, that was the other thing is I was like 5 pennies is a very weird reference point for me. Like
But it's
easy
gotta be around
horsepower.
an inch.
I don't know if you guys noticed listening, but I was watching, and when he referenced Wim Hof,
Yeah.
and then Joe's like, yeah, he's just like, breathe, motherfucker. Nestor was taken back. Like, whoa, that's very aggressive. Like, he's never said motherfucker in his life, this guy, Nestor.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
really?
Well, I don't know, I'm sure. Those motherfuckers weren't breathing through their mouth.
No, I didn't look at him. Was he like a really?
When
He looks like a mild-mannered
When Joe
gentleman.
did his impression of Wim Hof telling people to breathe, motherfucker, he was like, whoa, this is not what I'm expecting, this kind of aggressive energy from you, Joe.
I mean,
I just thought it was funny.
it was interesting because we did a Wim Hof throwback. Someone on the Patreon requested it. And we all agreed. I thought, maybe I'm wrong. I thought that we all agreed that Joe didn't buy into it. Just given the fact that he had him on again and that Joe normally pushes things that he feels work.
And
Right?
Joe
Like
didn't get into it, so
that. Well, we just felt that Joe
He
just
tried, though.
Well, we agree that he tried, but that he must have dismissed it as something maybe not for him because he didn't continue with it, right? So not something that he pushes to this day. So interesting that he had this guy on, and then because that's what kept getting me is I was like, Joe sounds really into this and interested.
Well, this guy seemed a little more practical, like kind of stuff you could do every day. Wim Hof's kind of was like, yeah, you could do it every day, but mostly it's so you can go into really cold water.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wim Hof's, the reason why you do this is to climb Everest, no shirt on. It was just too extreme. He couldn't articulate or break down to these smaller little things that Nestor was able to articulate wonderfully as why breathing through your nose is so important.
I mean, it's absolutely fucking insane that you can just heat your body up to that point from breathing and that you could climb Everest. It's fucked.
It was also confusing as the CO2 level thing.
Oh, I got totally lost there. I got to a point where I was like, there's no point in me ingesting this anymore because I'm so fucking lost.
Well, you don't actually have to understand it. You just have to know, breathe through your nose. So
the way
that's
a
why I thought it was
Jewish
relief.
person's nose is made is to take in massive amounts through their nostrils. Have you given that any thought as to ethnicity and?
Did you just was that the
No,
doctor
I'm not
you
giving that any
was that the
thought.
doctor you play on this
No.
podcast? A Jewish nose is designed to take in more air.
And certain noses could be designed to take in more air, more suited for nose breathing. Than,
Okay. But yet you choose to breathe from your mouth for the most part.
No, I think I do breathe from my nose. I think most of the time I'm not breathing. I'm just vampiring it. And when I'm not, I'm breathing through my nose.
It's a humble brag without the humble.
Except when I sleep, I think I breathe through my mouth.
And that's why I put a little piece of tape there and just solve that problem.
I could never do that.
Oh, I looked into mouth tape today. I'm gonna
I
buy
tried
some.
it today with masking tape. It works.
Anything
So you just need
that
masking
like,
tape?
It's a little square like
would restrict me, it would get in my head like that thing's there.
But the health benefits, the better sleep.
I think I'm already breathing through my nose, maybe. I don't know.
It's
Or
not the better
or
sleep.
not
I want to just be
breathing.
able to breathe through my nose well. That's what I would like.
That's how you breathe through your nose? Show me how you breathe through your
But-
nose.
But
It's
that's
insane, like-
that's because you don't breathe through your nose, so you have to
I
force
get it.
yourself
I
to breathe through your
understand.
nose
That's
and
why I
hold
do
it.
Breathe through your nose. Do it again. Hold on.
The whole point is
This is
to
going to be the worst part of the podcast. Yeah, put the headphones on,
you
Simon's
get better
gonna be-
air when you breathe in through your nose, and you don't have to breathe in as much as you breathe in with your
I
mouth.
understand that.
Okay, both of you give me the nose breathing. Matt first. Again. Holy shit. Okay, Kamar, your turn. Kamar, you're not breathing. Come on. That's you breathing through your nose?
Give it a good inhale through
Well, that's
your
the
nose.
difference.
Okay.
But I don't need to breathe like that.
Okay, I'm going to do it now.
Oh, that sounds like the clearest passage ever.
Wow, we have a breather, folks.
A breather, folks. Look, I mean, do you have to do that with that look on your face,
Well,
though?
I'm just showing you Jewish nose. I don't know. Maybe it has to do with walking through the desert for 40 years. And
You
just,
didn't walk
like-
through the desert for
I
40
know, but
years.
my people did. And eventually, you don't believe that Jewish people have big noses?
I don't stereotype like that. I think that's a
It's
terrible
not
stereotype.
It's not a stereotype. It's because Jewish people, it's like a race almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you keep arguing this because you don't want to be white, but
No, again, it's not that. It's like, yes, they share a religious background, but they also share a locational background, you know?
do they?
I think so.
Who here's
What
gonna
location is
argue
that?
with you, though?
Is that Israel where they've been for 60 years, or is it?
Do you want to argue with me?
Who's going to argue with you, though?
You're saying
Your army of
you're like-
of trolls will argue
You're
with
like
me.
you're like Jewish people with big nose. Prove me wrong. That's how
That'd be
I
a
feel
great. Oh my God! If Steven Crowder does that, that's great.
Holy
Jewish
shit.
people have a big nose. Change my mind.
All of a sudden, like for 1,000 years, people have been making fun of Jews and their big nose. All of a sudden, I say we have big noses, and you're getting on me for it.
I'm not. I'm saying, what do you want? You keep saying Jewish people have big noses, don't they? You're
I have a
asking
big
for
nose.
us to approve that statement.
But does it help? Clearly not.
But you don't have big nostrils.
What do you mean I don't have big nostrils?
Turn your head back. Kamar, turn your head back. Kamar has very big nostrils. Do I have big nostrils?
Huge.
Oh my
Massive.
God, it's obscene.
No, but I feel like
you could put a whole 8 ball of cocaine
listen,
in each one of your nostrils.
Just hear me out, okay?
Okay.
We all have noses.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like my nose is mostly nostril.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
No.
Where Kamar has like, he has a big nose, but he has a lot of like nose cartilage here. Whereas you have like a bigger nose, but you hardly have any nostril at all. You're like a lizard man. You know?
Toucan Sam.
Listen, all I know is that breathing for me, whether it's through my fucking nose or my mouth, has never been that easy. And I know that this new GP I got doesn't seem to give two hot fucks about it. So I'm still in the same boat.
Like you just took a huge breath there, right?
Where?
Right there when we were talking.
Yeah.
You took a big breath to get through that sentence.
Yeah.
That's because a normal person at that point would just breathe through their nose to continue talking.
Okay.
You can't do that? Sorry, I'm not insulting you.
I know.
I'm asking.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to sit here and actively
no,
do what I would normally like.
In my head, it sounded condescending. That was not what I'm saying. Like, I'm just
Trust
saying.
me, everything you say sounds condescending.
Obviously, most things are condescending, but in this case, I'm genuinely asking.
No, I don't know. That was the weird thing is there's so much shit that you do that you never ever think of. So when this guy started talking about it, so like I told you last night, I'd barely listen to any of these. So today I had to listen, and a buddy hit me. I was like, let's play video games. And I was like, the only way this works is if you shut the fuck up and I have my headphones in with Joe Rogan and then my other headphones on top of that. So I was listening to this while playing video games, and it was so weird because I was terrible and I'm not terrible and I couldn't figure out why. And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm sitting there trying to do two things at once while concentrating on my fucking breathing, because I was sitting there and all I'm concentrating on is through your nose. Through your nose. Keep your mouth fucking shut and just through your nose. And I thought about it. I was like, this is actually easier than I thought.
But God help, yeah, but you've got to be conscious of it. But God help the person who listens to this podcast and didn't become self-conscious of their breathing, unless they're breathing through their nose. It was so hard not to just fixate on breathing after listening to this episode.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
I mean, I don't know how, like, listen, again, it goes back to, I said it an hour ago. How are we not living in a simulation where someone can breathe a certain way and change the heat of their fucking palm?
Or the shape of their face.
That sounds like some Street Fighter Ryu stuff, you know?
It's just, I don't know.
Haruken.
I just love, too, when he's like, when Joe's like, have they duplicated this? And he's like, well, that was Swami. He's like, oh, yeah, okay.
The part I found really interesting was what he was saying. The reason he was trying to make his jaw bigger is because human beings' jaws have become too small. Our mouths have become too small. And that's why our teeth are crooked, or a lot of people have crooked teeth because their mouths are too small for their teeth. And when you look in the wild, an animal never has crooked teeth because their mouths are a normal size. That's kind of neat. And then somebody said, well, what about some dogs? And that's because it's the smush-faced dogs. Like my dog has fucked up teeth, but he also has a fucked up short nose, you know?
See, I'm curious.
That's not natural.
That's from inbreeding.
It's from too much breeding, exactly.
I'm curious because I grind the shit out of my teeth. And I wonder if that helps. I know it's bad for my teeth, but I wonder if it's good for my jaw in the sense that, like, I basically spend 8 hours a night giving my jaw. Like, I'll wake up in the morning and my face is fucking sore. My body is fucked, isn't it? Really a defective mechanism over here, isn't it?
I didn't want that to come out the wrong way, but yeah,
Quite
just
a
an
shame.
observation.
Yeah,
Just
no,
an
you're right.
observation.
Imagine if I just hammer this field goal, though. Kind of.
If you hammer the field goal, we're definitely living in a simulation.
If you breathe through your nose, you have a chance. Could you guys run around a track with water in your mouth and then put it back in the container?
I couldn't run around a track. You lost me.
I was just going to say, I was like, whoa, run around the track. Ease up there, pal.
Well, just for anyone who didn't listen to this episode, that's a technique to practice breathing through your nose.
When
I think we should, hold on, though. I think we should, after we kick the field goals, assuming we do this eventually, we should then each run the track together. Not for speed, just to see who can do it and who looks at the end of it like they're not about to die.
Why don't we have a 100-meter dash?
I'm so slow.
Well, he said not to race, just to do it together.
Well, no, if you want, listen.
We could do everything.
I'll just sit here and say it. I'm going to embarrassingly lose a foot race badly to both of them. But if you want to, Simon, sure. I'll have a 100-meter foot race with you. Kamar, you think you win that?
I'm down. I don't think I'll win.
Well, if you don't think you're going to win anyways, then it's not fun.
Why you think you're a
no, I have
speedy
to
little Jew?
boast,
Is that
and then
it?
he can prove me wrong. But if I
I'm
say I
fast.
don't think he would, there it
Okay,
is.
he's fast. That's-
So, but like, it would have been fun if you guys thought you were fast. You know what I mean? But if you both think you're going to lose anyways, then it's
We'll
not.
see how I feel after
It
the
just
kick.
seems like I'm rigging the game.
yeah, no, I'm not just gonna pull up a bunch of things I'm good at.
I'm
and
not
be like,
into that.
Just by the by, Joe really enjoyed this conversation too because of his nose issues. And earlier today, I was watching all the welterweight champions from the first one, who was, I forget who it was. It was somebody, and then to the last one was Kamaru Usman, and all of them. And you can hear Joe's voice change drastically. Commentating on fights
from
before the
from
nose
getting
job
his
and
nose
after, yeah.
fixed. Interesting.
Totally changes.
More nasally or less?
Less nasally. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, it is true. When you go and listen to him on news radio compared to now, it's like a totally different human being.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he looks too.
yeah, of course.
You know what? Maybe Joe is a fucking clone.
He's a mouth breather, that's for sure.
No, I don't know. You obviously don't watch the Pat McAfee show, but I'm sure you watch occasionally. Did you see the photo So this week on the show, he had some defensive lineman or O-line guy on, and he showed a photo of him when he was like 21 or 22 with no shirt on. There's just something about when you're 20, you think you're like, I'm an adult, but you're not. Like, your shit isn't developed. You don't. Well, the way I looked when I was 20 compared to now, like now I actually look like a human being. Same thing. Another buddy of mine who will remain nameless posted a photo of him in like, I don't know, let's say grade 10 the other day. He looked like this man's nose and head obviously did some serious changes over the last 15 years because it was obscene how he looked back in the day. Nuts.
Somebody I know, obviously.
No, I don't think you do.
Okay.
No. But yeah, I think your face changes a shitload from 20 to 30 even.
I feel like I look exactly the way I used to look. Don't I look the same?
No.
Your eyes see what they want to see.
But you've known me for 30 years.
Yeah, a little gray.
Just in the face, though. I look pretty much the same.
No, I have a photo of you in high school with a big Jewish afro.
Oh, I have a lot less hair. There's no
No,
doubt
but it's not
about that.
not even the afro. The face looks to me.
Really?
Yeah.
I still think I have that same big nose and like minus the beard.
The problem is you, like, even someone like Kamar, when you look at someone every day and it's a slow change, it doesn't seem like change to you.
Kamar looks exactly the same. You don't think you look exactly the same? You look exactly the same.
As when he was 20, I highly doubt it.
I'll pull
No
up a
way.
picture.
No
Let's
way.
find a picture.
No way.
Guaranteed he looks way different.
I look hardened and fat.
Well, okay, hold
Well, I
on,
mean,
hold
you
on.
look like a
we all
younger
we all
version of
we
yourself.
all look fatter. It's not a question. That's going to catch all of you motherfuckers.
Anyways, I think everybody looks the same.
Unless you breathe through your nose, it could change everything.
I mean, this guy definitely. I'm going to start. I want to tape my mouth shut tonight. I also think I talk too much, so I should probably just walk around with some mouth tape in general. But
I don't think anybody should tape their mouth shut.
I was wondering if at one point this guy said, yeah, this conversation is sort of taking a lot out of me because I'm breathing so much. It's like, well, what's the point of breathing your nose if you can't actually carry a conversation? Because it's only an hour and a half, this podcast.
it's 2 hours.
It was 2 hours, I think, yeah.
It's 140.
What happens, though, like, seriously, I'm being serious
right.
now. What happens if you tape your mouth shut
Yeah.
and then, like Matt, you have these terrible nostrils and you just can't...
Oh, me and my flawed nostrils. Why have you done this to me?
Doesn't
No,
matter. You have
but
to
you have
try.
these, like to start the race, you already have these
What am I
small
looking at?
nostrils and they're stuffed up.
Hour 50. I said 2 hours. I mean,
That's the semantics he's showing you. The
well, it's
10
at
minutes?
146.
Oh,
we'll
I
give
see.
him whatever.
Okay, fine,
He's-
fine. That's
okay.
better.
Hour
That's
and a
better.
half, 2
That's
hours.
better.
They're both the same answer.
So yeah, what happens if you have shitty, like you can't breathe through your nose? You've taped your mouth shut. That sounds like he's gonna kill.
First
a
of
lot
all,
people.
he said take a small square, like this big, like a little
It's
smaller
just-
than a
it's-
Hitler mustache.
So you
It's
can
just
still.
res-
I don't know why you
No.
went with a Hitler mustache. That's weird.
well,
It is-
just
it is- that's-
five
You could've
pennies.
just-
you
Five
could have just
pennies.
said an inch.
Five
You
pennies.
could have just said an inch.
It's just to offer the tiniest bit of resistance.
See, he's going Hitler mustache too. He could have
Hitler
done the
mustache.
same
Dude,
thing.
he's making it like weird and pornographic.
Just a tiny little bit. It's just the tiny little bit of resistance.
Yeah.
It's not about sealing the thing.
Yeah,
But
you're not
so
taking a
what's
piece
to,
of duct
what's
tape.
that to stop you from just going, oh, sorry.
Well, you're
The idea
also
is that you're
constantly
asleep.
trying to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Tonight's the first night I'm going to try it.
Listen, you who's off the Juul and back on cigarettes, we understand that you would rip the tape right off.
Right off. Zero.
Simon doesn't even put it on. Well, this just isn't going to work.
It's cost effective and could be beneficial. We got nothing to lose.
What happened, by the way? What happened? Let's take 2 out here. What happened?
I don't know, man.
It looked like the Juul was working for you. I get it's a stressful time, but the Juul,
pandemic,
but you got to work through that. That's the point. At least you had the Juul to help you work through that. I think you should get back on the Juul train, Simon.
I'm gonna get going again.
Please, for your own. Come on, you got 2 kids, a wife, people that care about you.
I don't like when people talk to me like that.
What, caringly? I know it's tough.
He's putting you on blast.
Don't push your love on me.
How hard would it be if you were gone? It'd be just me and Kamar yelling at each other.
Oh my god.
With no notes.
Well, some people will want it that way, Kamar.
Not I.
Are we done with this guy
Yeah,
too?
can
then?
we be done? I'm so fucking hot,
Sure,
man.
sure. What time is it? It's
I'm
midnight.
so hot.
Oh my god, it's
No,
almost
it's
midnight.
11:30.
Jesus Christ.
We'll be done by midnight.
These hot days, folks, we're recording late, and it sucks dicks.
It'd be much better when we're shivering in the cold.
Oh my god, I thought about that the other day, Kamar.
Work.
No, I thought about that the other day. I was like, you know what? Come November, it's going to be frigid in here. We're all going to die of COVID.
Dude, it is so much easier to heat a place than to cool it. It's
Well,
like,
obviously this place is really fucking insulated because
yeah.
Listen, we'll just take another $500 of the Patreon. We're going to buy a few fucking heaters.
I have heaters. We have
Okay,
lots of
fine.
heaters.
Okay, well, let's rate this lovely gentleman then. I mean, I bought his book, so I have to give it a 4.
Wow, you pulled a Kamar.
this is what
Hold on, I
talking
had an
about.
audible credit.
This is what I was talking about last week. Just I guess about something nothing to do with the politics or COVID or whatever. I give it a 4.
This is why you listen to Joe.
This is why you listen to Joe.
Yeah, a dude you'd never really heard of, talking about something you didn't know you needed to hear.
Supporting someone you had heard, a la Wim Hof.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't get the same thing out of this episode that you guys did.
Well, that's because of your huge nostrils. I think we've
It's
established
true.
that.
I'm already
provided no
genetically,
Your disposition
genetically
just allows you,
engineered for everything he
You were just
already
like,
said,
welcome to the
so-
party.
Yeah, your Judaism was like, this
So
guy's
for
already
that-
talking my language.
For that, I give him a 3 or
Okay.
3.5.
Well, still.
Yeah, it was a good one, but like, I didn't need.
It was a great week.
I didn't need his help.
Why would you give this guy? Did you rate it?
4.
Okay, excellent.
4 across the board, every guest.
What did I give the week? I felt
4.
like did I give the
We
week
agreed
a 4?
on a 4. I believe.
It's
Wow,
true.
That's generous of me. Okay. Yeah, no, we did. That's right. Okay.
No. Matt didn't. Matt gave it a 3.5, and he wanted to give it a 3.75, but he doesn't believe in it.
No, and then I said I'm going to go up because I'm in a good mood. Remember that
Okay.
specifically?
Well,
right?
you'll hear when you edit.
Yeah.
And then you'll owe me an apology.
No, and then I'll
Or
It's okay. I accept your apology, Matt, in advance.
fucking guy.
let's get to this post, Joe. I'm juiced up.
Well, if you guys want to leave, I'll just finish all the pertinent stuff, and you guys can go smoke your fucking cigarettes. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching. If you did both, fuck, you're great.
merch.
Oh yeah, we do have merch. That's a new thing I got to add to the whiteboard. New
you
plug.
go to the
It's TeePublic.
Instagram. Yeah, I know, but you have to get that code.
Okay,
I
so
also
then
put a
link.
link on the Reddit. The
link.
link is up on the Reddit.
It is also on the Instagram. It's right there. You can just click on it, and it'll take you right to TeePublic.
are the codes that I put up still good right now?
You won't know until you try.
Okay. So if you're on the Patreon, you have a discount code sitting there. Go use it if you want some merch. If not, we don't care. It's fine.
No, I mean it's only if you
Capture
want it.
a moment in history
I don't want to
Yeah.
push anything on anybody, but it's there.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
with fresh designs coming out all the time.
Buy one of the mugs. They look terrible.
Don't do that. I suggest you don't buy the mug.
I'm such a good pusher of our
I
merch.
don't know. But the t-shirts are really nice. I think the sweatshirts are nice.
Oh yeah, totally.
I don't know. I've never actually seen them in person. Hopefully we'll
Well, Mary ordered
ourselves
a
some.
gaggle of gear, so we'll find
Yeah,
out.
well, that's why we're fucking rich now.
There we
Merch,
go.
merch.
Anyway, sorry, back to your
No, that's it. Buy some merch if you feel the need. If not,
Instagram.
I totally
use
understand.
the link.
Yeah.
Boom.
We have an email if you want to email us, jreepodcast@gmail.com. You can tell each one of us we're shit or one of us individually. Simon will never read it, so don't worry about it.
I won't. So send them away, boys.
We have a Twitter and an Instagram. They're both JREE Podcast. You can follow Kamar here on Instagram
At Kamar Babar
and Twitter.
and Twitter.
You can follow Simon on Instagram.
At Bigfoot Sighting Society. I think you should get off of Twitter.
Why?
Because I think they're bad news.
They're all bad news.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And Facebook just looks like Instagram now. That's the weirdest thing.
Really?
Just the format has changed
Yeah, it's
again.
black and it's kind of.
I don't even know what Twitter looks like.
I
Isn't
haven't-
Twitter baby blue? Isn't it a bird?
No, it's white. I haven't been on any of them in forever. I feel great. Anyway, that being said, we also have a Reddit, which I'm clearly not on. Reddit.com/JRE podcast. Kamar's on there. You can hook up with him. You can get involved in the chats. Again, tell us we're shit. Tell us we're great.
There's a link for the merch there.
There's a link for the merch there.
Nice work, Kamar. How'd you do that? Oh, you just went and grabbed
Just
it.
post a link.
That's
Good work.
it. Nice work, buddy.
Good work.
Yeah, the Reddit's a fun place to get some banter going. And
don't forget the YouTube. It's amazing.
yes, if you haven't joined the YouTube, again, even if you don't plan on watching us on YouTube, just go and hit the subscribe button. It does us a huge favor.
It's the only way we're going to get to 1 million.
That's never going to happen.
Also, share it with a friend because YouTube is trying to cancel us, and it's important that we get to remain on there, like in solidarity. But we're the type of people that they want off. I'm just saying.
When we say shadow ban,
We don't want to
mean
be shadow
ban.
banned. Yeah, so the more you can help.
Okay. And then the most important one, I guess, would be the Patreon. If you listen to the show, if you enjoy the show, if you watch the show, if you feel like you want to support the show, you can head over to Patreon for as little as $1 a month. You can support us, and it helps us out a great deal. It's patreon.com/JREE podcast. You will get the post Joe on Tuesday with the regular episode, and you will also...
Plus almost 100 hours of content.
Oh, is that where we're at now? Nice. Yeah, there's 45, I think, episodes of This Won't Age Well up on there as well. And we release new ones every Monday, except for the last Monday of the month. So you get 3, sometimes 4 episodes of that.
Going back 11 years.
10.
That's some great...
Be a part of history.
Yeah.
Isn't this the 11th year?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's 10 full. That's all I'm saying. Semantics.
You don't want to include 2020. I do not blame you.
Yeah, why would I? That's it. If you made it this far, I can't believe it. Thank you so much. I don't know. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you're safe out there. If you're in the States, maybe think about wearing a mask. Just think about it.
Think about just staying inside, man.
Sure, but if you're...
No, I
Just
don't know.
think about being kind.
Yeah, maybe just try to help out everyone else. That's it.
Okay, keep your eyes open, folks.